last week, Tampa Bay won the first game in the history of their franchise, and this was the scene at the airport as the team arrived back after that 33-14 win over New Orleans. 8,000 fans plus were on hand for the celebration. And today, better than 65,000 fans is in Tampa Stadium as the Buccaneers, with a 1-12 record, play host to the St. Louis Cardinals, who come in here 7-6 for 1977. As you can see, the fans are on their feet. They love it here in Tampa Bay. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Bender, and alongside me, a man who carried the football for 10 years in the National Football League, Emerson Boozer. And Emerson, they won their first game, and this place is going crazy.
They won it in great style, Gary. Last week I was down in New Orleans. The fans there actually stood up and cheered the first time the Buccaneers scored. The score should have been 55-14. They had the ball 4 times inside their own 40 or the New Orleans Saints 40-yard line. Managed to get 2 or 3 touchdowns in a hurry. They are an alarm club. The fans here are with them, not only in the last ball game, but all year long. They've been with these Buccaneers.
On the other hand, the Cardinals come into this game for the first time in 4 years with no real pressure to win. And I guess the question is, will they play with pride?
Pride is the main thing. Certainly, St. Louis has been down the stretch a number of times, missing the playoffs. They have nothing to work for today. So you hope that Cordell has gotten his group installed into the frame of mind that they must go out and win it, whatever cost it takes. Keep in mind that it's the last game for many of these players, and they really don't want to go out there and get banged up before Santa comes.
Well, it is, in fact, the last game for number 81, Jackie Smith, the All-Pro for 5 years.
Certainly, Jackie is probably the all-time great tight end. He leads with 480-some receptions. A man of all in, has taught a number of linebackers and tight ends how to play the game. The game will miss Jackie, and then one final note before we go to Gary is that Jackie's jersey will be sent to Canton, Ohio, to the Hall of Fame. So congratulations to Jackie. Hope that the Cardinals have a good day. And this man, he represents the Cardinals.
All right, Emerson, we're right now having the flip of the coin. They were applauding the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as they came on. Let's pick it up now on the field.
Heads. Comes down tails. The Buccaneers.
So wait a minute. We've got some discussion going on about the flip. This is Bernie Ullman and his crew that'll work today's game.
Gentlemen, that coin came down heads. St. Louis wins the toss. They wish the ball. Which goal? Which goal? Would you put your back to your goal, please? The Cardinals win the toss. Elect to receive. Play ball.
Well, I've never seen such a discussion over the flip of the coin. Have you, Emerson? That was a real knockdown drag-out, but you saw the final result as the Cardinals meeting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for the first time. A beautiful day. It's a little windy. The temperature kickoff 67 degrees. The wind gusting from 10 to 14 miles per hour out of the northwest. We'll be playing on a natural surface, and there's the men in charge of today's game. Bernie Ullman and the crew. Tampa Bay last week defeating the New Orleans Saints 33-14. They had lost 26 in a row. On the other hand, the St. Louis Cardinals knocked out of the playoff contention after dropping a 26-20 game to the Washington Redskins. And the Redskins, of course, winning yesterday and hanging on to see what comes out in that Chicago Bear-Washington Redskin game. Dave Green will be kicking off now for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There he is, number 4. He will do the placements as well as the punting. And number 21, Terry Metcalf, is back deep. Now, the interesting thing about this stadium, the wind is blowing from left to right, but we understand it swirls, and actually on the field it's headed the other direction. If that doesn't confuse you, we'll wait and see how it affects the course of this game. Green is ready. The finale of the 1977 season's ready to go, and Green has it underway. Terry Metcalf is going to take it. He's at the 10. To the 20. The 25. Metcalf weaves his way across the 35. He breaks it outside across the 40 to the 42-yard line. Terry Metcalf coming in here with over 700 yards rushing. 33 yards as far, or 33 catches. And this time, what a return, Emerson Boozer.
And that 33-yard pickup makes Gary, the little guy Terry Metcalf, the first player in NFL history to gain 2,000 yards 3 years, not in a row, but 3 times in a career.
He needed only 25 yards coming in here. Now, Jim Otis will be starting at the fullback spot, and this is Otis, and he's hit immediately. Jim Otis going in place of Wayne Morris, who's been having the sore back, and Dave Peer. Let's check that offensive line. Roger Finney was a teammate of Emerson Boozer's. Banks, Dobler, and Deardo all going to be back here January 23rd for the Pro Bowl. And the wide receivers, Mel Gray, selected as the most valuable player this week. Ike Harris, J.B. King, Hart, Metcalf, and Otis. We expect to see more. Mel Gray to the top of the screen, Ike Harris to the bottom. Second down, virtually 10 yards to go. This is Terry Metcalf. Metcalf across the 45 to the 47-yard line. Leroy Selman, and you're going to hear that name a lot. Number 63, their first-round draft pick of a year ago. There's none better in the league in the estimation of Cardinal man Larry Wilson, who talked about him all week long. There he is along with Peer. Lewis, outstanding rookie from USC. Richard Wood with an interception last week. Cotney, Brown, Washington, and White. They have 21 interceptions this year. Mel Gray to the bottom of the screen. Third down, 6. Hart, his first pass of the game. This is Metcalf. Metcalf's got the first down to the 40. A flag on the play as Terry Metcalf has a first down to the 37-yard line, but a flag thrown back at the 45. That would have been Metcalf's 34th catch of the year, but the preliminary signal is going to be personal foul clipping against St. Louis. Mark Cotney eventually made the tackle, and that'll bring it back. And Emerson there again shows the flexibility of Terry Metcalf. He can do it all.
Terry is everything to the Cardinals. I'd say he's roughly 40% of their offense. He's a man that can take the ball from punts, kickoffs, swinging out of the backfield, running from the set position. He can do it all. He's the most feared man in that attack.
Personal foul, clipping, number 88. Third down.
That's J.B. King, the tight end. So that'll bring it back to the 40-yard line, where it'll be third down now and 12 yards to go. So the first down pass is negated. Jim Hart coming in here with 13 touchdown passes, 18 interceptions. This time, Ike Harris, the top of the screen, Gray to the bottom. Third and 12. Hart going to try to get again on third down. Pressure put on. Now Gray, the intended receiver, is picked off. Mark Cotney comes up with his first interception of the year. He's a strong safety, a third-year man from Cameron State. And this team, after getting 6 interceptions last week, already has one today.
That's a turn-in pattern from the left side. Hart was Harris just a little bit. But he steps in front, picks it off. There's nothing he can do about it. He was trying to get it inside. There was just not enough room to work. Tampa Bay's ball.
Make no mistake about it, Tampa Bay is a fine defensive football team. Emerson has been the offense, has been their stumbling block. From the 37, this is Gary Huff, number 19, the quarterback. This is his 5th start. Ed Williams, Lewis Carter, the running backs behind him. Ricky Bell is hurt with rib injuries. We don't know if we'll see him before the day is over. And Lewis Carter advances the ball close to the 40-yard line. He's a third-year man from Maryland. Last year, he led this team in rushing with 521 yards, but this year, he's gained only 72. The offensive line, Darrell Carlton, their best man, a former Miami Dolphin, their right tackle. John McKay, Morris Owens, who has 33 catches, and tight end Jack Novak. Second down and 7. Huff, Williams, and Carter in the backfield. Second down, 7. Morris Owens to the bottom of the screen. A give up the middle instead, and here comes Ed Williams from Langston, a former Cincinnati Bengal, to the 42-yard line. This team has averaged only 6 points a game, Emerson, but more importantly, they've just kept their defense on the field too much this year.
Anytime you have to have your defensive unit stop a good offense all day long, or a mediocre offense, it tends to dampen the spirits a bit, but it has not happened with the Tampa Bay defensive unit. The offense has been the big problem.
Isaac Haggins has come in now, the wide receiver, along with Morris Owens. The Cardinals moving to a 3-man front today. We'll talk more about that in a moment. Third down, 5. Lewis Carter. And Carter's very close to that first down at the 47-yard line before Carl Allen, number 27, came up to meet him. Cardinals coming in here have moved to the nose tackle Charlie Davis, Ron Yankowski, and Mike Dawson at the defensive ends. They instituted that 3-4 last week against Washington. The linebackers, the way they're going to play, it'll be Niels on the outside, be followed by Williams, Carney, and Arneson. That's the way they line up left to right through the course of this game. A measurement coming now, and it's a first down. Tampa Bay with the first down. The ball at the 47-yard line. Changes continue now at the wide receiver. Hagan's coming out of the lineup.
Gary, I think the scene has been set immediately in this ball game. Tampa Bay opened up running the football. I don't know how much they plan to throw, but they've had luck picking up the first down in that first series, so you can bet it's going to be a running attack all day by the Buccaneers.
There's John McKay, the head coach of Tampa Bay. A first down, 11:41 to go, first quarter. Gary Huff, play action. Looking for Morris Owens, and it's incomplete. A man deeper down the field was Dana Knopziger, but Owens, the intended receiver, their leading receiver, covered very well on that play. Morris Owens, the next catch he makes will set a record for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for receptions in a year. Gary Huff, and his statistics, last week directing the team to victory over New Orleans. Started 5 games. Fifth-year man from Florida State. He was hurt in the preseason with the knee and hurt his ribs in a game earlier against Dallas. 5 defensive backs come in now for the Cardinals. Second down, 10. And the ball by Ed Williams is moved close to the 45-yard line. Ed Williams starting in place of Jimmy DuBose. And also in the backfield, we have a change today. Lewis Carter for Ricky Bell. We may not see Bell, but DuBose may get in before the day is over.
We won't see Ricky Bell at all, Gary. Ricky is now suited on the sideline in civilian clothing, so I doubt if he'll go in at all.
This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers of the National Football League is prohibited. Third down and still 4 yards to go. Up, Owens. And Owens at the 35 has a first down for Tampa Bay.
Well, that gives him the record, Gary.
Morris Owens out of Arizona State, a former draft pick of the Miami Dolphins, comes up with a first down catch. Bradley and Eric Williams combining on it. Hey, this Owens has been quite a performer for him.
He set a club record here with this reception. A quick look in, move fake to the outside, gets forward. Owens. That makes him 31 receptions for the year, a Tampa Bay club record.
From the 35 now, first down. Up again, wasting no time. A pass complete at the 20-yard line, the big tight end, Jack Novak. Jack Novak, that's only his second catch of the year. He's had all kinds of injury problems, hamstring trouble, ankle problems. The third-year man from Wisconsin has a first down now for Tampa Bay at the 20-yard line. And Emerson, they are moving the football.
This is the best offensive drive that I've seen them in about 4 attempts. I've had them 4 times this year. This is my 4th time, rather. And this is the best-looking drive, even in their win against New Orleans last week, that I've seen all year.
Isaac Higgins goes to the top of the screen. Morris Owens to the bottom. First down from the 20-yard line. Up, the former Chicago Bear. He gives on a delay. And not much developed on that play at all. The 20-yard line as Lewis Carter picked up maybe a half yard. Eric Williams, who was voted Rookie of the Year for the Cardinals, making the tackle. Second down, virtually 10 yards to go. Change now. John McKay, the coach's son, comes in replacing Higgins at wide receiver. That's where they will send their plays in, is through that wide receiver spot. Statistically, you can see Tampa Bay has not scored in the first quarter. In fact, they've had a very difficult time at home. They've played 22 consecutive scoreless quarters here in Tampa Stadium. Up, wanting to throw again. John McKay, the intended receiver, but there's a flag at the 21-yard line. In fact, there are 2 flags. As Huff trying to hit John McKay to the far side of the field. Going to go against St. Louis, offside. Oh, wait a minute. Correction. Wait a minute. He was right the first time. Bernie Ullman pointing the wrong way, but it is offside against the Cardinals. So that'll step it off 5 yards to the 15-yard line. As far as field goal kicking is concerned, Dave Green this year has hit 5 of 10.
Man over the center.
Man over the center, that would be Davis. Charlie Davis is lining up. Over the center of Steve Wilson, a second-year man from Georgia. Second down, 5. Morris Owens is in. 2 tight ends, Knopziger and Novak. Jimmy DuBose now is in the backfield. And he, along with Lewis Carter, in there. And this is DuBose. That's 10. He's down to the 6. You can hear the crowd chant his name as this young man from Florida has carried the ball 61 times and hasn't fumbled on any of those occasions. It's now 1st and goal, Tampa Bay. The Cardinals this year have had a tough time defensively, particularly in the last 3 games. And right now, Tampa Bay is exploiting that. They have a 1st and goal at the 6-yard line. The Cardinals have given up 5 more points this year than their offense has scored. From the 6-yard line, 1st and goal. Give up to Ed Williams, the big fullback. And Williams is inside the 5.
Gary, when you say big fullback, he is a very big back for a running back. He's about 245, 6'1", and that's a lot of weight. Many of your offensive guards go up that weight.
There you look at him from Langston. That's a school in Oklahoma. He played some semi-pro football for the Oklahoma City Wranglers. He was acquired on waivers in 1976 by Tampa Bay. It's now 2nd and goal. The ball outside the 3. Up, giving off to Carter. Great effort by him. A flag on the play as Carter is close to the 1-yard line. Looks like Morris Owens may be gilding up holding, and that's going to go, no, it's offside against St. Louis. And that's twice now that St. Louis has been offside.
The fans got to be awfully happy at this point. Tampa Bay has not scored a touchdown here all season. They've only had 3 points scored by a field goal. So as close as they are now, they've got the fans standing on edges.
Can you believe the only points they scored was in the 2nd game of the year? An 18-yard field goal by Levitt.
Defense number 55. 2nd down.
Well, that's Eric Williams, the linebacker who was offside. So it's now 2nd and goal. The ball just inside the 2-yard line. Nothing going right for the Cardinals on this initial series. Morris Owens to the top of the screen. 2 tight ends, Knopziger and Novak are in. DeVos and Carter, the running backs. Fake by Huff. He's in trouble. Good coverage that time as coming through was Tim Carney, the middle linebacker, and he messed that play up.
The Cardinals had the blitz on him at the right time. A counteract would have been to give a draw play here, but certainly Huff had called another play. Looked like a rollout. The Cardinals got the needed pressure.
Again, remember now, Tampa Bay has not scored a touchdown at home this year. And now they have a 3rd and goal. Ed Williams, Lewis Carter, now the running backs for John McKay's team. Knopziger and also Novak, again, the 2 tight ends, and Morris Owens, the only wide receiver, the bottom of the screen. Carter, Lewis Carter, he's close, touchdown, I believe. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers signaling the touchdown, but they're still discussing it. They say he crawled in.
I think he did, Gary. Watch to the right side of your screen as number 32, Lewis Carter, hits the ground. A great second effort trying to get to the goal line. He falls just about there. That's where the ball's dead. He reaches over. No good cheating, but you should give it to him anyway.
All right, now it's 4th and goal. I think they were on that one all the way, Emerson.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of flopped across there. So 4th and goal. DeVos in the backfield, but this is going to go instead of Carter. And it's a touchdown, and Tampa Bay has scored the first touchdown this year in Tampa Stadium.
Can you believe that the fans have waited 7 weeks to see the Tampa Bay offense score their first touchdown? A tremendous roar from the fans as Tampa Bay well deserves the applause.
Boy, that was a long drive. 14 plays, taking over 6 minutes. A sustained drive, and Tampa Bay's on top 6-0. Lewis Carter cracking over. Dave Green to attempt the point after. That breaks a long dry spell for the Buccaneers. Holding is John McKay. The kick on the way, and the kick is good by Dave Green. And Tampa Bay now takes a 7-0 lead as Lewis Carter, the 3rd-year man from Maryland, cracks in for the touchdown. It's Tampa Bay 7, The St. Louis Cardinals nothing with 6 minutes and 54 seconds to go, first quarter.
This Christmas card was sent to you by the people at Miller High Life. Merry Christmas.
Dave Green kicking off, and there's statistics on that last drive. 63 yards. Look at the time they took on that drive. Terry Metcalf, nope. It's going to be picked up short instead by Steve Jones. And Jones brings it out close to the 30-yard line, and you can see Tampa Bay is fired up.
We're going to find right now, Gary, whether the St. Louis Cardinals want to play football, because Tampa Bay has not been able to get a sustained drive against anybody, let alone score in the first quarter. So now it's time for the Cardinals to buckle their chin strap. If not, they'll lose by a big margin.
And we have Terry Metcalf, I believe, shaken up on that last play. At the 25-yard line, we have a score in that big Chicago-New York Giant game. It's 3-3. Bob Thomas and Joe Danello each have kicked field goals of 32 and 38 yards. So Terry Metcalf, away from the action, shaken up on that play. And obviously, that would stymie St. Louis's plans at the 25. We have another score. Cincinnati leading Houston 3-0. This is field goal day. Chris Barr has kicked a 27-yard field goal for the Bengals. There's Don Coryell, Jim Hannafin, the offensive line coach. And Terry Metcalf still down. Let's see if we can pick it up, Emerson.
Terry Metcalf is at the right side of your screen, away from the action. You've got to be alert. Here comes a body in the way. It appeared to be a twist or got hung into a body, a fallen body.
Somebody was flipped over. It looked like they may have foot-legged him or something like that.
That's what it looked like. Either got his foot caught underneath, trying to step over.
So at the 29-yard line, we have timeout with Tampa Bay leading 7-0. And in the true spirit of Christmas, one of our people here on the crew, I don't know where his mustache or beard went. Just short of the 30-yard line now. Jerry Latin has come in, replacing Metcalf. Latin and Otis, the running backs. This is Jerry Latin. Jerry Latin gets two to the 32-yard line. Richard Batman Wood, who last week picked off the pass and went in for a touchdown. He has 4 of them this year, making the stop. Jerry Latin was the starter earlier this year. There's his statistics for the year, and now across the 32, they're going to give him 32 and a half. It'll be second down and still 7 yards to go. Ike Harris to the top of the screen. Mel Gray to the bottom. Give again, this time to Big Otis, and Otis to the 35-yard line. Boy, Otis coming off that ball in a hurry. Dave Pear, that nose tackle. Boy, is he something. Dave Pear, outstanding. He's as good as any. As Jim Otis stopped on the play. Otis coming in here with 315 yards on the year.
Not a typical Jim Otis year. Certainly he would have loved to have crossed the 1,000-yard mark, but it gets tougher each year as you get older.
Third down, and still 4 yards to go from the 35-yard line. Harris again to the top of the screen. Looks like we have a mix-up, and Hart's going to eat the football. Flags everywhere, and Jim's going to lose yardage to the 32-yard line. Looked like everybody fired off, Emerson, before that ball was snapped. Jim looking around, he wants to know what's happened.
There was some hesitation or indecision from just before the ball was snapped, and when a quarterback turns and there's nobody there to give it to, it's panic time.
Illegal procedure is going to be the call against St. Louis. He pointed the wrong way and then corrected it. And so now it's going to be a punting situation for the Cardinals, and Dwayne Carroll will come in. Dwayne Carroll returning to close to where he grew up. He along with Gary Huff.
Offense decline. 4th down.
We're teammates at Florida State. Isaac Higgins goes back deep. He's joined there by Danny Reese as Carroll will be kicking. 5:26 to go, first quarter. Tampa Bay with a 7-0 lead on a drive 63 yards after an interception of a Jim Hart pass. Carroll, that high snap, gets off a boomer. Reese is going back at the 15-yard line. And Reese brings it out to the 22. Very good coverage that time by Kurt Allerman. Allerman, the third-round draft pick from Penn State, and he's played so well on those punt coverage teams, and there was a good example of it.
Good hang time on the punt here. You want to try to give it up to give your lineman some time, and he did just that. Got it up there so the return team can get down under a defensive team. Good coverage.
There's Terry Metcalf. The diagnosis on him, a sprained knee. He will not return to the course of this football game. The Cardinals will have to go without him from the 23-yard line of first down. Tampa Bay with a 7-0 lead, and they bring it out to the 27-yard line. Lewis Carter, stopped by Ron Yankowski, number 78. This Carter, 5'11", 210 pounds, is a third-round draft pick of the Oakland Raiders in 1975. He was acquired on the veteran allocation, and last week, leading rusher, or I should say last year. This year has not played as much because of the play of Ricky Bell. John McKay to the top of the screen, Morris Owens to the bottom. Second down, 6 to go. And to the 28-yard line comes Carter. Good reaction that time by St. Louis. Cardinals now trying to shut off this attack of Tampa Bay after moments ago went 63 yards to take the lead.
They're realizing that they're going to have to play this thing no matter what happens.
That's a good point, Emerson. Sometimes you come in here, you think you're fired up, but yet you don't have a lot to play for. It's that old pride angle, isn't it?
I think last week the Washington Redskins took everything out of the Cardinals. But some way, somehow, you've got to find enough strength, enough character to stand up and play the Buccaneers.
Boy, this has been a controversial week in St. Louis. Higgins to the bottom of the screen. Third down, a long 4 to go. Huff back to throw. He's got Morris Owens wide open. Morris Owens had everybody beat on that play. Roger Worley trying to get back there. And it'll bring up a 4th down.
Huff had his man open, just put too much stuff on the football.
Gary Huff coming in here has 2 touchdown passes, and that's all Tampa Bay has this year is 2. 4th down, and Dave Green will come in. Going back will be Bill Bradley for this punt. Bradley starting today in place of Jeff Severson at the safety spot. 3:47 to go, first quarter, 7-0 Tampa Bay. You can see the wind blowing in the jersey of Dave Green. He'll be punting into it. Bill Bradley at the 28-yard line. Bradley's got some blocks to the 45, a flag thrown. He's to the 40, to the 39, but a flag way back at the other end of the field at the 40-yard line. A 45-yard punt that time by Dave Green. Jimmy DeVos making the tackle, but a penalty flag way back at the other end of the field. And we're going to have clipping against St. Louis. So that'll bring back a fine run by Bill Bradley. Bradley picked up after the injury to Mike Sensabaugh, and this young man still wants to play football, and he indicates he wants to come back and play with the Cardinals next year. So the penalty is going to move the ball all the way back to the 25-yard line.
Personal foul, clipping on the run back, number 65.
That would be Brad Oates, a second-year man from Brigham Young University, who committed the clip. And to the 25-yard line instead of the 39-yard line of Tampa Bay. 3:33 to go, first quarter from Tampa Stadium. 7-0, Tampa Bay leads it. Well, it's 67 degrees here, and the fans are loving it. A crowd of over 65,000. The Cardinals with the ball, they've committed 5 penalties now for 37 yards already in this first quarter of play. From the 25, first down. Jerry Latin, Jim Otis, the running backs, behind Jim Hart. Hart to Latin, and Latin's going to be thrown for a lot. He's going to be driven clear into the end zone. What reaction that time, Leroy Selman. And there is Leroy Selman at his best.
I was a little bit disappointed, I'm sure he was, when the Pro Bowl selection came out this week that this man, number 63, Leroy Selma, was not on it. Certainly he is a standout defensive end. Look at number 63 at the bottom half of your screen. He recognizes that there's a little quick pitch out, a screen coming, and it's all over. Wrapped up, as should be done, and he tries to send him to the concrete wall in the back.
I think they're going to take him out in the ocean if he kept that up. You know, Selman comes in here with 13 sacks. He just does everything. Now it's going to be second down and 16 yards to go. Jerry Latin and Otis again, the running backs. Gray to the bottom of the screen, flanked out, hard on second down, dumps it off to Jimmy Otis. Otis to the 25 and to the 28-yard line, and that will be still about 10 yards short of a first down. As Cedric Brown and Mark Cockney flying up from the safety spot. Here's the big one. Chicago, New York, 3-3. Chicago wins, they go to the playoffs. If they lose, it's Washington.
Yeah, I understand that Walter Payton has a -4 yards. I don't know what it is at this point, but that's not much.
And look at this one. Your old team, the Jets, are getting pasted today.
Ooh, 17 goose egg.
You know, Philly's going for their 5th win of the year. They've been a vastly underrated football team. Latin and now Steve Jones are the running backs. It's going to be third down and 7 yards to go. Hard again. Good reaction by Tampa Bay on a pass intended for Jerry Latin at the 35-yard line.
That pass was broken up by number 54, Richard Wood. He already has 2 interceptions this year, tying the club record, or club lead rather. Almost had a third.
This defense of Tampa Bay is tough. Most of the year, Emerson, they've had teams get ahead of them about a touchdown, and then they couldn't get any more. Well, right now, Tampa Bay enjoys a lead of 7-0. There have been some very close games this year. Isaac Higgins and Danny Reese go back for this punt.
If it were anybody else other than the St. Louis Cardinals, I'd say 7 points. You are in trouble with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
All right, here's Dwayne Carroll's punt. Reese coming up on the fly at the 40, 45. He's 5th in the NFC in punt returns, and he's in Cardinal territory at the 48-yard line. Danny Reese, second-year man from USC, doing quite a job of bringing that ball out, and Tampa Bay has it first down. Looking ahead to the CBS Sports Spectacular, we'll have the World's Professional Skateboard Speed Championships. They're going to compete in 3 categories in that competition, Emerson. They're going to have the giant slalom, the standing board, and the skate carts.
Skate cart? That's not a crate carton, is it?
I don't know, but it's taped earlier in Akron, Ohio. That's the same slope as the Soapbox Championships, also the European Figure Skating Championships, next Saturday, 4:30 on the CBS Sports Spectacular. McKay and Morris, the wide receivers, first down, and Huff's throwing the screen. Intended for Carter, and it's picked off. Picked off by Mark Arneson, and Arneson has it at the 44-yard line of Tampa Bay, and some shoving and pushing going on. Kenny Ray's having a discussion down there with Darrell Carlton, number 70.
Let's look at it again. Huff wanted to set up a screen to the left top of your screen, got a little bit too much pressure, threw the ball too high. It's tipped. This is one of the dangers, and this is one of the things that you try to teach a linebacker or a lineman, the tip drill. Arneson sees the ball right there, wraps it up well. Cardinals have great field position.
That's the second interception of the year for Mark Arneson, who's played extremely well at that right linebacking spot. The ball just inside the Tampa Bay 45-yard line. Tampa Bay with a 7-0 lead, trying to win their number 2 game and their 2nd game in a row in the history of their franchise. Jerry Latin, Jim Otis, the running backs. This is Otis, and he is hit immediately. Reaction by Dave Pear. Dave Pear at 6'2", 250 pounds, is a 3rd-round draft pick of the Baltimore Colts in '75. He was their most valuable performer last year, and he's played extremely well this year.
Where do you find guys that quick? Nose guard with 2 guards in front of him, manages to get around, catch a back in the backfield.
I tell you, on that play, they may have picked up a half yard, and that's all, as Pear was there immediately. Ike Harris to the top of the screen. Gray to the bottom. Second down, virtually 10 yards to go. A delay to Latin. And Latin's got some running room, and he's very close to the first down as he crosses the 35-yard line. Dewey Selman, the brother of Leroy Selman, and he's no slouch. Dewey Selman's a fine football player, an inside linebacker, and it's going to be very close to that first down. Jerry Latin that time, Emerson, and something you did so well, he kind of cut against the grain when he got to running.
I like the way he moved, and I used to try to slide my way not really going upfield, just sliding laterally across the field, try to keep my body upfield, and hope they don't get a good shot at me.
Looking ahead, the basketball season full swing. In fact, they played a third of the season in the NBA, and we're going to have next Sunday at 12:30 the Buffalo Braves against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Walt Frazier now playing for Cleveland.
Clyde, Cool Hand Luke, anything relating to ice and coolness, that's him.
Well, the measurement indicates a first down for the Cardinals just inside the 35-yard line, and that, by the way, is the initial first down of this game for the Cardinals. Tampa Bay with 5. We come to 43 seconds to go, first quarter. Mel Gray, flank to the top, along with Ike Harris. The furthest man out is Gray. Hart to Otis. Jim Otis, 5 yards and then some as he crosses the 30 and spins his way to the 27-yard line. Picking up 7 yards on that play. Dave Lewis, and there's another guy we should mention, is Dave Lewis, number 57, their second-round draft pick. They feel he's the best rookie linebacker in the NFL. Future All-Pro is Don Coryell. A week that may have put a few years on his life. And a lot of controversy in the St. Louis area. As now at the 27-yard line, the first quarter comes to a close. So after 15 minutes of play here in Tampa, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a 7-0 lead over the Cardinals. As Tampa Bay, after that big win last week, trying to make it 2 in a row. Along with Emerson Boozer, this is Gary Bender. We start the second quarter play at Tampa Stadium. As the faithful here at Tampa Stadium, watching their team take a 7-0 lead after 15 minutes. Second down and 2. Jim Otis, who carried for 8 yards a moment ago, trying to pick up the first down. Dave Pear again making the tackle for Tampa Bay. Tom Banks, the center for St. Louis, has his work cut out today, Emerson, with Dave Pear.
Any center in the league gets Dave Pear on his nose. He's going to have to breathe awfully hard.
Banks, of course, this week voted to be a starter in the Pro Bowl, along with Dobler and Deardorff, and Roger Worley, and Mel Gray and Terry Metcalf as reserves. As we mentioned, Metcalf is out of the game with a stray knee, will not be back this afternoon. They're just short of the first down. Third down coming up is now Tom Brahaney and Jackie Smith will come in, and we see Jackie Smith for the first time. Last appearance, 198th game for Jackie, his 15th year in the National Football League, 480 catches.
That says it all. Certainly one of the all-time standouts at the tight end position.
One of the finest people you'll ever meet. So it's third down in a matter of inches. Otis is going to go for it, and he's got it. Jim Otis picks up the first down. Dewey Selman making the stop for Tampa Bay. Dewey Selman, by the way, is working on his PhD. He already has his master's degree. They tell me he is an outstanding student. He was an academic All-American at Oklahoma. That's quite a pair of the Selman brothers. First down, the ball at the 23. Ike Harris to the bottom, Mel Gray to the top of the screen. The Cardinals would like to keep that lead in the National Football League in passing. Jerry Latin, he hit. The ball is loose, and he was really jarred, and I believe St. Louis has recovered.
I think the ball was blown dead, Gary.
What a hit was put on at the 20-yard line. Tremendous jolt. And St. Louis is going to get the ball at the 20-yard line. Dewey Selman went flying over there. And that is indicative of how this Tampa Bay defense has played all year long. There's Dave Lewis, a fine rookie. He's upset. He thought they had the football.
Take a look at it again at the bottom of your screen. You really shouldn't take a shot like this. Bingo, he rams, gets his back turned. He goes down losing the football. If you lose the football once you're on the ground, it is not ruled a fumble.
That looks like he, in fact, had hit the ground, Emerson.
He had gone down.
So at the 20-yard line now. Second down, 7. Boy, what a shot Latin took on that play. Hart to Ike Harris. Incomplete. Tell you, Ike Harris, they didn't fool anybody on that play.
No, I'm sure Ike Harris glad the ball was thrown a little bit short because he was just about ready to be wiped out totally.
Dave Lewis and Dave Pear involved in that play. The Tampa Bay now Holding. 3rd and 7 from the 20-yard line. Tampa Bay last week held New Orleans to 92 yards rushing. Their defense been amazing this year. They've held teams to 146 yards a game rushing, 134 passing. Only one back has gained 1,000 or rather 100 yards in them in one game, and that was Walter Payton.
Took some 38 carries to do that.
3rd down, 7. That is very close to the first down. Jerry Latin making the grab, and let's see if he did get it. Latin very close to where he had to go for the first down. They're looking to see if he got it.
Very difficult pass to defend against him. The old 10-yard, 5-yard hook pattern.
It's 4th down. They did not get it. It's 4th down, and they're going to go for it as Jim Otis comes in now. The Cardinals trailing 7-0, and they're going to go for it. As now they bring in Jackie Smith and Tom Brahaney, and the Cardinals are going to call timeout to talk it over. So 12:43 to go in the second quarter. St. Louis now with a difficult decision to make. They have 4th down, a half yard to go. They trail 7-0. The ball at the 14-yard line as Hart, Don Coryell, and Jim Hannafin talk things over. Well, the Chicago Bears are trying to get into the playoffs for the first time since 1963. Emerson, I understand that Walter Payton's carried the ball 6 times for 1 yard in that game. He's having to work for it, isn't he?
Doesn't take much for him to pop one. He only needs about 2 quickies to get his 199 yards.
All right, 4th down, inches. The Cardinals are going for it. Jim Otis.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think he got it, Gary. He was nailed backwards.
What reaction again by Tampa Bay. I can't say enough about that defensive wall. Looked like Dewey Selman had come in there. Now they may measure anyway to see if he got it.
Look at it again. I can't see the number, but I would say it's Council Rudolph or Dewey Selman.
There's Dewey Selman, number 61. They're going to check and see. Otis just couldn't fall forward because of the tough tackle.
Once you stop that way, you want to try to get forward. He didn't have a chance to even wiggle his way forward.
Big measurement coming up. They did not get it. So on 4th down and inches, the Cardinals don't get it.
That tells you something about this Tampa Bay defense. They are a very proud bunch. Not that St. Louis let down at all. They have done that a number of times to many people in the NFL.
So at the 12:37 mark of the second quarter, Tampa Bay's defense holds. And at the 13-yard line now, Tampa Bay's got it. Looking ahead now to the Fiesta Bowl on December 25th. Penn State against Arizona State. Those Nittany Lions of Joe Paterno. Very tough, Emerson.
Like them.
3 o'clock Eastern, Sunday, December 25th. Plan on joining us. Tampa Bay wasting no time. Lewis Carter on the pitch, and Carter's close to the 20-yard line. Also in the bowl picture, we have the Sun Bowl. Stanford against LSU on Saturday, December 31st. You can start your New Year's or your last day before New Year's outright watching that one. And then the Cotton Bowl. Earl Campbell, who might be playing for Tampa Bay if they take him as the #1 draft pick.
If they don't give him to Dallas.
Against Notre Dame. Unbeaten Texas against the Fighting Irish. That's Monday, January 2nd. Outstanding action right here on CBS. Carter, Dubose, the running backs behind Gary Huff. This is Carter in motion, and here comes Dubose straight ahead, and he's close to the first down. Jimmy Dubose started 4 games last year. He's been playing an awful lot down this stretch. Last week led the team in rushing with 59 yards.
There was something strange about that last play, Gary. Looks as though Huff had to really extend himself to get the ball out there, but they found themselves a nice hole.
You know, they have had this year 15 quarterback changes. I should say in the last 2 years. They've used 5 quarterbacks this year. It's been kind of a round-robin musical chairs thing at that field general spot. And I suppose your timing would be effective. Boy, they got that first down by a millimeter. Tampa Bay right now, they've got things going their way. A score, Cincinnati. If they win this one over Houston, they go to the playoffs. Cincinnati leading 6-0 on 2 field goals by Chris Barr.
Not going to be easy.
At the 23.5-yard line, first down. Isaac Higgins to the bottom of the screen. Morris Owens to the top. Tampa Bay with a 7-0 lead. And this is Ed Williams, a big fullback. And Williams to the 26-yard line. Boy, he's got big legs. 6'1", 245. change now. DeBose comes back into the lineup. Second down, 7. Tampa Bay, with the turnovers this year, they haven't had the continuity on the offense. They feel that their offensive line now is starting to come together. They have people who they think they can work with to build for the future. Little or nothing developed that time. The Cardinals reacting well. Charlie Davis in on the stop.
That was almost a dead giveaway, and looking at them, they had such wide splits in the offensive line on the last play. You know something was coming up on that side. Why they did it, I don't know.
DeBose coming off now. Second-year man for Florida. Ed Williams replaces him. Third down, still 6. Atlanta leading New Orleans 7-0. Woody Thompson scoring on a 17-yard run. Third and 6. Carter. And Lewis Carter is not going to get the first down. It'll bring up 4th down, and Tampa Bay will have to kick the football. So coming in will be Dave Green to do the job. Green has been a workhorse this year. He had punted 93 times coming into this contest. Last year he punted 92, which was the most in the AFC. And Bill Bradley will go back. That's Green, number 4. He was a former draft pick of the Cincinnati Bengals. Averaging 40.1 this year. Looks like they're coming after him, too. Bradley clear back to the 25-yard line of St. Louis. Funny kick. Bradley having trouble with it. And that ball is going to go clear inside the 10-yard line. That was not an artistic kick, Emerson, but how effective.
Bradley used his head wisely. He saw the ball take a bad hop, a little bit over his head. He just quietly ran in the other direction, which he should do.
Well, Reese and Bradley discussing what happened on that play. And so now the Cardinals will not get the field position they anticipated. That was a 63-yard kick by Dave Green. The Buccaneers lead it 7-0. 63-yard punt by Dave Green. Bill Bradley let it roll, and now the Cardinals will be starting from their own 9-yard line. Running backs, Wayne Morris is now coming to the games to join Steve Jones. 9:29 to go, first half, 7-0 Tampa Bay. This is Wayne Morris in trouble, but he broke the tackle somehow, and he's going to get some yardage out of it. Dewey Selman, or check that, Leroy Selman, got through, and he broke the tackle. And that shows the upper body strength that time of Wayne Morris. You don't run out of the arms of Leroy Selman very often.
That shows you a little fear, too, a running back has. When a big man like that is breathing down, you just got to run out there the best way you can, because number 63 hasn't ramped up, and he says, I'm getting away from you.
Wayne Morris missed all of last week with some problems with his back and the second half of the game with the New York Giants. So that's his first action in some time. Gray and Harris, the wide receivers. Second down, 6. Morris goes in motion. Hart gives off to Steve Jones, and Jones gets to the 15-yard line. It's going to bring up a third down and still 4 yards to go. Council Rudolph and Dewey Selman combining on the stop for Tampa Bay. Steve Jones has not played all that much. He'd only carried the ball 20 times prior to today. So on a third down, still 4 to go. The Cardinals trailing 7-0. There's been 2 interceptions in this game and an injury. Metcalf right now out for the rest of this game and, of course, for the rest of the year. Gray, Harris again, both of them flanked to the bottom of the screen on the third down and 4. All right, Mel Gray wide open. And Mel Gray's got a first down catch to the 25-yard line. So the Cardinals now come up with a big third down conversion. And Mel Gray now has caught a pass in 58 straight games. That's not too bad a streak.
I'm sure he doesn't want to catch another pass in that heavy artillery zone. That zone I'm talking about is in between the linebackers. A little guy like Mel Gray having to go down to your turn and take a hook. You know you're going to be pulverized from both sides by men 230, 240.
I tell you, Mel Gray is a tough guy. He hangs in there with that first down catch at the 25. Jones, Morris, again the running backs. A little delay to Wayne Morris, and Morris brings it out to the 32-yard line. Selman and Richard Wood again combining on the stop for Tampa Bay. Wood, a former New York Jet, third-round draft pick. 4 interceptions this year. He's played extremely well, as has this entire Tampa Bay defense.
That was a pretty good run by Wayne Morrison. That was something interesting, too. He ran right up the back of Roger Finney, and linemen don't really like for that to happen. They're trying to block, and the back runs into them from the rear. They'll show you the next play.
They'll look around the next time, huh?
No, they'll get out of the way and let you have the guy in front of you.
Paul Harris has replaced Cecil Johnson at linebacker for Tampa Bay, and there's nothing going on that play for Wayne Morris. Orange-shirted Tampa Bay defenders led by Council Rudolph, a former Cardinal. He was a 3-year starter for the Big Red, and he's played very consistently this year for Tampa Bay.
I don't know what happened on that play, but I don't think anybody blocked him at all. He was in the backfield waiting for Morris.
So now it comes to a third down and a long 5 to go as Don Coryell in front of Jerry Latin. The Cardinals having to play some catch-up football, trailing 7-0. Mel Gray, Ike Harris, flanked to the top of the screen. Morris, Jones, the running backs. Third down. Gray again. Boy, was he hit. Mike Washington, number 40, unloaded on him. And Mike Washington has 4 interceptions. He had a 45-yard touchdown last week with one of those.
Gary, I'll tell you one thing. Roger Finney on the top side of your screen is doing a great job today on Leroy Selman. Selman is just not your average defensive end. He's destined to be one of the super defensive ends in the business. Has beaten just about everybody once doing a series, but Rogers slipping and sliding, scooting right with him.
Danny Reese goes back deep. He's joined back there by Isaac Higgins as Dwayne Carroll will kick from the 15-yard line on a 4th down and 5. Great timing that time by Washington on that last pass attempt. Carroll hits that one off the side of his foot. They're going to get away from it. It's going to go out of bounds at the 36-yard line of Tampa Bay. So the Buccaneers have excellent field position. That was only a 35-yard kick by Carroll, who came in here averaging just over 36 yards a boot. So with 5:46 to go before halftime, Tampa Bay hanging on to that 7-0 lead. Well, that 35-yard kick sets the ball up at the 36-yard line for Tampa Bay. We now have been told that Walter Payton has a minus 4 yards and 7 carries in that game with the New York Giants is tied up 3-3. Lewis Carter, the running back, to the 40-yard line. Mark Arneson making the tackle. So Walter Payton, Emerson Boozer, is going to have his work cut out for him, it looks to me like, for the day's over.
I'm sure he knew it coming into New York that the Giants are not one of your weaker defensive fronts in the business, nor are their linebacking crew. So it's going to take a lot of effort, a lot of work, and more passing on the Chicago attack to break Walter loose.
2nd down, 7. Higgins and Owens, the wide receivers. Gary Huff on the play action. Going deep. Wide open. And touchdown for Morris Owens. Morris Owens with his 3rd touchdown catch of the year. And Tampa Bay has jumped to a 13-0 lead. He couldn't have been any more wide open on that play.
That had happened time and time again to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Having Morris on, Isaac Higgins, and McKay out in front of a defender just can't get the ball there. But this time Huff puts the ball right on the money. He has to slow down just a wee bit at the very top of the screen, but it's enough to get him out in front.
61 yards for Morris Owens. Carl Allen making a diving attempt. Dave Green to attempt the point after the 5:01 mark. John McKay holding. Dave Green's kick. There's a flag on the play. The kick was wide, but let's see what the penalty is going to be about. We may have somebody crashing into the kicker, and I believe that's what we're going to have, roughing the kicker, so they'll get another crack at it.
Did you see that Washington-LA game yesterday with Septien missing 2?
Right. He got a reprieve and still didn't get it to go through. This has been a year, it's been difficult for field goal kickers, hasn't it, Emerson? Have you ever seen a year where they've had more problems?
No, I don't think I have.
61-yard touchdown pass.
Personal foul, running into the kicker, number 27.
That's Carl Allen, who had just beaten a moment ago on that long touchdown pass. by Morris Owens. Morris Owens has caught all 3 touchdown passes this year for Tampa Bay. 13-0, and Green to attempt one again. And this one's going to make it. And Tampa Bay with a surprising 14-0 lead over St. Louis. And the Cardinals, who said they were going to come in here playing with pride, are going to have to get their act to order, because Tampa Bay right now is rolling. And the team that's been victory-starved for so long really has the momentum going. Looking ahead to the CBS Sports Spectacular, the World Professional Skateboard Speed Championships will be coming up. That was taped earlier in Akron, Ohio. That's the same slope as the Soapbox Championships. They have the giant slalom, the standing board, the skate carts. And then, also on the CBS Sports Spectacular, the European Figure Skating Championships, taped last year in Helsinki, Finland, for top Olympians and emerging young stars. Outstanding action coming your way next Saturday right here on CBS. 14-0 our score. And this crowd, which swelled over 65,000 after last week's upset over New Orleans, is ecstatic.
Win or lose, they've been treated well here. 2 touchdowns in 1 ball game. 6 games prior, no touchdowns. 2 in 1 day.
And it rains and pours, I guess.
And it bunches. It's almost Christmas.
Green ready to kick off again. Back deep for the Cardinals is Steve Jones. Coming to the near side. Bradley's going to let it hit. Did it make it into the end zone? Where'd it go out? It went out of bounds. 5-yard penalty.
Very, very close.
So they'll be kicking off 5 yards back up the field. Well, Emerson, let's talk about the Cardinals for a moment. Here they are. They're down 14-0. Tampa Bay with a good defense. There's been so much controversy this week about the status of Don Coryell. They said they're going to play with pride, but sometimes you can say you're going to play with pride and you don't, right?
Each ball player has to evaluate his own thinking. Number 1, do I go out and risk the possibility of getting hurt? Number 2, if I don't go all out and play, it's being taped. The coaches will see it next year. I don't get a chance to get a fair break at starting. These are guys that are backing up, I'm talking about. Don't get a chance to get a fair shake because I didn't put all out at Tampa Bay. What do? Give it your all or just hang around?
Well, some guys are playing for better contracts, don't they, on the last game of the year?
Certainly, but 1 ball game will not boost them that much. I think players that are second liners are the ones that should be playing most of this ball game, getting a good look, a look that could post their season and better their position next year.
Green kicking off. This is going to be way short. Bill Bradley coming up. Bradley at the 30-yard line. Well, he's doing a good job of running, and he makes it to the 37-yard line. But Bill Bradley's done a very effective job on a couple of punts today. Mike Lemon, a 3rd-year man from the University of Kansas, flying up to make the stop. So the Cardinals, who've had an explosive offense all year long, are going to have to get their offense rolling now. And here's a big one. Houston now leading Cincinnati 7-6. The Bengals lose, they're out. And in that game, Ron Coleman scored from 1 yard out to give the Houston Oilers the lead.
You can bet the Oilers are not going to roll over and play dead to Cincinnati.
Boy, Houston's been a tough team to figure out this year.
Slicker than the oil they represent.
Steve Jones and Wayne Morris are running backs. The ball at the 37-yard line. First down. Morris. And you can see how difficult it is to run against this big 3-man front led by Dave Pear, who made the stop. Pear has been all over the field. He's an emotional guy. Emerson, sometimes he'll make a sack and he'll raise his arms in the air and this place just goes bananas. Just short of the 40-yard line now. Gain of 2, 2nd and 8. Mel Gray and Ike Harris go to the top of the screen. In motion to the near side comes Steve Jones. Wayne Morris. And again, the defense is there.
That's Mr. Dewey.
I tell you, Dave Lewis really stacked up that play. He just cut everybody down, and Dewey Selman came over and finished it off.
That's the way to play it. If you cannot make the tackle yourself, you try to strip all the interference, as you see here. If you can pick up number 57, you'll see him just take things out of the way. That leaves an open track for Dewey Selman, number 61, which helps make a guy like that all pro. One hand washes the other.
3rd down, 7. That's pretty good. I like that. Gray, Harris again to the top of the screen. 3rd and 7, 3.5 minutes to go before half. You see Pear right on the nose of Tom Banks. Boy, what a meeting they're having today. Hart on 3rd down, cranking up over the middle. Ike Harris, he's got the first down.
I see Ike Harris is accustomed to being thrown the football in between linebackers, and he handled it very well. It went down about 8, 9 yards, maybe 10 yards, did his little turnaround. The minute he caught the ball, he stepped out of the vice. They somewhat collided, but he just couldn't get away.
Mike Harris coming in here with 34 catches. That's off of last year's pace when he caught 52. First down to the 47. The time now, 2:55. 14-0. Tampa Bay with a lead. Jimmy Hart now has Gray to the bottom, Harris to the top of the screen. Play action. This is Harris. Another first down, and quickly now the Cardinals are striking. The ball at the 35-yard line. Mike Washington, the right cornerback, making the stop for the Cardinals with this guy, number 17, now starting to get things on track. Jim Hart can make things happen, Emerson.
He's a little bit behind his seasonal production, has 13 TDs going into the ballgame. And since being a starting quarterback, he has had an average of 15 TDs per year. Too short today.
This is 55th consecutive start today, and this is a give to Wayne Morris, and Morris across the 30, the 25, and Wayne Morris is close to the 23, another first down. Wayne Morris, as we now have the 2-minute warning here. So now, in a hurry, the Cardinals strike for 3 first downs. So the 2-minute warning here, Tampa Bay leading St. Louis 14-0.
Attention shoppers, the new Atari cartridge game is in.
Excuse me.
Uh-oh. George again. Atari's AFC battle.
It comes with 27 games, but that's just for starters. You can get 9 cartridges, 187 games.
Blackjack.
I'd like an Atari.
Sorry, only our demonstrators left.
Mine.
No, George. Mine.
The new video computer system by Atari. More games, more fun.
The Cardinals are moving the football very, very quickly now. They picked up 3 first downs. They have the ball at the 24-yard line of Tampa Bay. There's your time in the right-hand corner of your screen. An update on that Cincinnati-Houston game. Houston leading 13-6. Dan Pastorini to White Shoes Johnson, 17 yards, but they missed the point after.
I would imagine Billy White Shoes wiggled his legs too much in the end zone.
From the 24 now, first down. Hart. He's got Ike Harris open at the 10, and Harris gives some yardage back, but I believe he's got another first down at the 12-yard line. Harris trying to swing wide, lost a yard or two. Mark Cotney making the tackle for Tampa Bay.
More and more receivers are doing that, going down and getting the necessary yardage, coming back just a wee bit to the quarterback. By doing that, it alters the course of the defender. He sees you at one point, now you're moving the other way.
Cardinals, by the way, have used one timeout. Here's Hart back to throw again. Wayne Morris. Oh, what a collision inside the 10-yard line. They're going to mark it at the 9. That was Cotney again, the strong safety flying over there. That'll stop the clock as he goes out of bounds with 1:25. And it brings up still 7 yards to go for that first down. So the Cardinals trailing 14-0 now, trying to get on the board here in a waning minute and a half. It's been the passing of Hart that started this drive and kept it moving. Gray to the top of the screen, Harris to the bottom. Hart, 2nd and 7. Over the middle, it's deflected. Almost intercepted. Excellent coverage. Dewey Selman close to picking that one off. The intended receiver in the end zone was really blanketed that time, Emerson. They had at least 3 orange shirts around it.
That linebacking core of the Buccaneers are a very active group. They had gotten back right on the goal line, saw the ball coming well, had to get up a little bit, but almost got themselves an interception, staving off the drive.
Hart now 8 of 13 for 60 yards, and he suffered that interception back in the first quarter. That set up the 63-yard drive that was the initial score of the game. Gray to the top of the screen along with Harris. 3rd down, 7. There's a delay to Wayne Morris. Morris to the 5. He is very close to the 1st and goal. I think he may be a yard short. It'll bring up a 4th and goal, or 4th rather, and a yard to go. They need to get to the 2-yard line to get 4 more downs. And they're going to measure. That time, the blocking excellent up front.
Good-looking play by the Cardinals. They did a little razzle-dazzle work up with that offensive line, but Benny leaving the line of scrimmage, pulling around Leroy Sullivan.
Well, they're indicating now, Emerson, they don't need a measurement. It's 4th down, less than a yard to go. The ball resting just about on top of the 30-yard line. They need to get to the 2 to pick up a 1st and goal, as Jackie Smith is going to come in. And the Cardinals have called a timeout. The Cardinals now with 1 timeout remaining, 54 seconds left in this first half. As Hart goes over now to confer about this play. Earlier, you might recall, the Cardinals on a 4th and less than a yard did not make it. And now they have another 4th down. On the CBS Sports Spectacular next Saturday at 4:30 Eastern, we'll have the World's Professional Skateboard Speed Championship. That's coming from Akron, Ohio, where it was taped earlier. Same slope as the Soapbox Championships. They'll have the giant slalom, the standing board, and the skate carts. You do any skateboarding, Emerson?
No, I think my feet are too big for skateboards.
Also, we'll have the European Figure Skating Championships. That was taped last year in Helsinki, Finland. We'll have the top Olympians and emerging young stars. Next Saturday, the CBS Sports Spectacular, 4:30 Eastern Time. 54 seconds left. Let's check now some scores throughout the lead. Philadelphia leading the New York Jets now 20-0. Nick Mickemeyer with a 41-yard field goal and a 39-yard field goal. And Green Bay leading San Francisco 3-0. Chester Markle with a 27-yard field goal. At halftime, we'll keep you posted on what's happening throughout the National Football League. Here we go. 4th down, less than a yard to go. A full house backfield for the Cardinals. In motion, Jerry Latin. Give the ball, touchdown. Boy, what a play that was. There was a hole big enough, Emerson, for anybody to go up that one.
I think I could have run from the booth down to the field and gotten through that hole.
Beautiful play. A little misdirection maybe on that as they sent the man in motion and cracked right up the middle.
Certainly there was something wrong with Tampa's defensive alignment. I see. A little bit overplaying, working to the outside with anticipation of the play coming off tackle. They made a natural opening right up the gut.
And the point after attempt by Jim Bakken. And it's a 14-7 game. That was a 63-yard drive. The same distance the Tampa Bay marched to get their first touchdown of the game.
The kind of drive that the Cardinals are noted for. They can either get it down there in a hurry or take their time and do it deliberately.
So the Cardinals have come within 7 now, striking in a hurry. A very impressive drive. Wayne Morris scoring. Looking ahead now to the NFL playoffs on Monday, December 26th. Well, we don't even know who's going to play there yet. We've got a lot to be decided. We'll know the teams after today's play. That'll be coming up on CBS. Of course, right here on CBS, the NFC Championship game. What do you think, Emerson? Where's that going to be?
I really don't know. I'm with everything up in the air with the Vikings, Los Angeles, Chicago. They're all.
What about Dallas? You want to go with Dallas?
Well, Dallas they're a shoe-in right now, but let's wait and see.
Anyway, that'll be January 1st, and the Super Bowl January 15th. George Ragsdale is back deep now for Tampa Bay, along with Ike Higgins. Bakken to kick off. 14-7. Tampa Bay with the lead. 51 seconds to go before halftime. Very short. Picked up by Ragsdale. And Ragsdale to the 21-yard line.
There appeared to be a little bit of a mix-up there. Ragsdale kept looking up for it. There was a potential receiver in front of him, one of his own players. He was concerned whether the ball would be fielded by one of the up men or whether he should take it. He ended up letting the ball hit, and that shouldn't have happened.
You know, that last drive by the Cardinals only took 3 minutes and 54 seconds. Very, very efficient drive, and kind of indicative of how the Cardinals at times have just been so explosive, so impressive.
And that's their trademark. Got to get down there either way in the air or on the ground.
14-7 now, 47 seconds left before half. Gary Huff. Up the middle comes Tampa Bay with Ed Williams. Williams to the 24-yard line, so Tampa Bay now will just grind out the remaining time of this first half. Tampa Bay striking first in this game, a 1-yard smash at the 6:54 mark. 7-0 after one quarter. The Cardinals were moving the ball. On the fourth and less than one, they didn't make it at the start of the second quarter. And then Morris Owens caught a 61-yard touchdown pass from Gary Huff. And then just moments ago, Wayne Morris cracked in to get the Cardinals on the board. 13 seconds and winding down. Well, that's going to about do it here in this first half. The Tampa Bay, who scored their first touchdown ever at home this year, came back to duplicate it again, and they have a 14-7 lead. The end of the first half with a score. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers leading 14-7 as this crowd on their feet, an appreciative crowd of better than 65,000 as attendance here in Tampa will go over the 500,000 mark for 1977. So the Cardinals, who came down here knowing that Tampa Bay was the team that was fired up after winning last week 33-14 over New Orleans, have their work cut out for them in the second half of play. They have a tough defense to face. They're without Terry Metcalf, who has a strained knee and will be out for the rest of this game. So Emerson, a game that means an awful lot to Tampa Bay, and the Cardinals, as you said, you can't just show up and win. You got to be ready to play.
You've got to be ready to whip them.
So Tampa Bay with a 14-7 lead. Stay with us as we will be giving you all the scores throughout the National Football League and a look back at the first 30 minutes right here at Tampa Stadium. 14-7, the Buccaneers lead it.
Be ready to whip them.
So Tampa Bay with a 14-7 lead. Stay with us as we will be giving you all the scores throughout the National Football League and a look back at the first 30 minutes right here at Tampa Stadium. 14-7, the Buccaneers lead it.
60 Minutes looks at the growing problem of juvenile offenders. Next, Beverly LaSalle pays a Christmas visit, much to Archie's surprise. And on Alice, it's a joyous Christmas trip until...
We're marooned. Who's going to wake up Mail and tell him? Mail?
60 Minutes, followed by All in the Family and Alice, starting Sunday at 8, 7 Central and Mountain Time.
CBS Sports presents an exciting Christmas weekend, leading off next Saturday at 4:30 p.m. with a CBS Sports Spectacular featuring highlights of the World Professional Skateboard Speed Championships and highlights of last year's European Figure Skating Championship. On Christmas Day, we'll feature NBA action tipping off at 12:30 p.m. with the Buffalo Braves taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Followed by the Fiesta Bowl with the Nittany Lions of Penn State taking on Arizona State. And on Monday, NFC playoff doubleheader action. Be sure and be with us for a Christmas sports weekend.
14-7, our halftime score, as Tampa Bay with the lead. And Emerson, Tampa Bay, you know, it's interesting what one win will do for you. They're just playing like a new football team.
It appears as though they've gotten new life from somewhere. They were a club just 2 weeks ago that could not score offensively. They got most of their breaks last week by the defensive unit getting the plays, the big plays, giving them the ball inside the 40 or at the 40. But today, the defense turned the ball over, I think, around the 54, maybe 60-yard line. And they went on to push the ball in for a 6-point score and then come right back again for another. This club has changed tremendously. And seeing Huff hit Owens for a long pass, 60-some yarder. Just weeks ago, they couldn't do that.
Yeah. Well, you know, another thing, too, is that their defense, other than that one drive of 63 yards, where Hart was really, I thought, very effective, has shown me they'll come after you, they'll hit you, and being 7 points down at half is not a comfortable spot to be in.
No, it isn't, but the Buccaneer defense is the kind of defense that will make Jim Hart and his offensive unit recognize that, hey, we've got to go out and play these guys. These guys are much better than teams have shown around the league, so if we are going to stay in the ballgame offensively, we're going to have to move it as well against this club or anybody else.
Okay, and one thing I wanted to ask you is a running back. You know, we're seeing a lot of 3-4 defenses, and that's what Tampa Bay is using. Did that affect you? Did you like to play against a 3-4 defense?
No, I really didn't like it because having come from a standard 4-3, a 5-man line, all of a sudden now here is a 3-down lineman, gaping holes with linebackers standing up inside, linebackers outside. To give you just a short analysis of what it's like is coming into New York City, St. Louis, Miami, any major city at the height of rush hour. All those bodies going in 9 different directions. Didn't really like it.
And when you got a guy like Dave Peer playing over your nose, that makes it even tougher. But right now, we're going to join a new member of the CBS Sports staff, Christine Kraft, for this tape feature.
This is Christine Kraft. No, her father is not chairman of the board of the famous boat company. However, she's a new member of CBS Sports, and we're certainly glad to have you with us. Chris, you're all the way from San Francisco, one of our affiliates out there, KPIX. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Phil.
I'm sure that people are anxious to know what you'll be doing with CBS and a little bit about your background. So let's start with that
Well,
first.
I have been in television for 2.5 years, first in Salinas, California, and for the last year in San Francisco. I have done weather, news, and sports. And what we're going to be doing here on the Sports Spectacular is feature stories on women athletes and news on women athletes all over the country. We're going to be traveling, and we're going to get a good view at the state of women's sports today.
Well, that's very interesting, and I think, personally, being on the women's side, that there's a desperate need for that kind of reporting. Your debut is January 7th, I believe.
Yes, it is.
On Sports Spectacular, you'll have Chris's Corner, your own section. Who's your first interview with?
Our first feature will be on Janet Lynn, who won a bronze medal at the Sapporo Olympics in 1972. We'll take a look at what she's doing now, returning to skating. Then in the weeks following, we're going to go to the Superdome in New Orleans and look at women's basketball. Following that, we will also visit with Yvonne Goolagong, who is now a mother and still a tennis superstar, and lots of things to look at in the future. Women's sports, a veritable treasure trove of things to look at.
And I'm anxious to hear about Yvonne. She's one of my favorite tennis players.
Me
Good
too.
luck to you. Can't wait to see you. That's January 7th. Christine Kraft, and happy birthday.
Thank you, Phyllis.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers lead the St. Louis Cardinals at halftime 14-7. The NFL Today on CBS will return after this word from your local station.
Walter Payton against the elements. That's right. I think the elements have caused the Bears to change their game plan, don't you? He's only carried 7 times.
He played in New Jersey. It is the Chicago Bears and the New York Giants, and what it means simply is this. If the Bears win it, they will be the wild card in the NFC. They will open up the playoffs on CBS a week from tomorrow in Dallas. It would be Chicago and Dallas, meaning the second game on that card would be Minnesota at Los Angeles. However, if the New York Giants beat the Bears and they are tied 3-3 just going into the third quarter, then, of course, Washington would qualify for the playoffs, and it would mean that Minnesota would open in Dallas and Washington would play Game 2 out in Los Angeles. Let's take you around the league right now and get you up to date with all the scores. There they are, and they still have not kicked off to start the second half. Atlanta and New Orleans. The Saints trying to come back after that nightmare of a week ago. It is 14-7 Falcons. St. Louis and Tampa Bay, the Buccaneers may have a winning streak going. Philadelphia and the New York Jets, it took them an entire season, but the Eagles may have finally discovered a field goal specialist. Nick Mickemeyer, 2 field goals in the first half, 20-0, they are burying the Jets. And in a game the Bengals must win, they are losing. Houston, though, missed an extra point, and maybe, as Jimmy the Greek said, they will go into overtime. Green Bay and San Francisco, the 49ers have just snapped back after trailing by a score of 7-3. We can check in now on some of the highlights. Chicago and the New York Giants, and the big story there, unfortunately, is that it is a miserable, miserable afternoon. No chance at all for Walter Payton to do his thing. This will give you an idea. Parsons punting for Chicago. Sankey to return for the Giants. Watch the ball. Slips free. Rather recovered for Chicago. They could not score a touchdown. Bob Thomas, a 32-yard field goal. 3-0. Bears. Joe Danello answered it with a 38-yarder, tied at 3. Walter Payton, dropped by Ray Rhodes, was held to -5 yards in the first half. As a matter of fact, the Giants outrushed Chicago 103-12.
Nobody expected that, obviously, but the Giants do have a great defensive line, and they've done a great job all year against the rush. But down in Atlanta, other things are going on right now. The New Orleans Saints are trying to get untracked after that upset loss to Tampa Bay last week, and they trailed at halftime 14-7 to the Atlanta Falcons, and Woody Thompson puts the Falcons on top right away with this touchdown run, and they lead 7-0 in the second quarter. Arkowski goes to the airwaves in this particular play, hits Farmer. Farmer takes the ball down to the 14-yard line, allowing Haskell Standback to carry it from there down to the 1. And Mr. Standback answers the call again, only this time he goes in for the touchdown. Atlanta leads 14-0. Archie Manning, late in the second quarter, puts the Saints on the board with this particular pass to Henry Childs. He hits him in the end zone, and the Saints go out that way at halftime. Atlanta 14, New Orleans 7.
Irv, St. Louis and Tampa Bay. The Buccaneers, of course, return home after upsetting New Orleans and winning the first victory in the history of the franchise a week ago. Cardinals with the ball. Hart going over the middle, and Cotney will pick it off for the Buccaneers. Huff, their quarterback, looking for Novak. And the suddenly potent Buccaneers have got the ball on the Cardinals' 20. Lewis Carter to score as the Buccaneers get 6 points in the first quarter for the first time in their history, and they weren't finished. Early in the second quarter, Huff, Morris, Owens make it 6 more, and the extra point made it 14-0. The embarrassed Cardinals come back. Hart, Harris at the 10, and it was Wayne Morris running it in for the touchdown. 14-7, Tampa Bay leading. The San Francisco 49ers have come back against the Green Bay Packers. The game is being played in Milwaukee, and the field conditions there are vastly better than they are over in the Meadowlands in New Jersey. Here is Plunkett, and Willie Buchanan of the Pack picks it off. Green Bay could not get a touchdown. Marco kicked a 27-yard field goal. It was 3-0. But the 49ers drove 75 yards, 16 plays. Plunkett to Washington for the touchdown. They lead it 7-3. So let us now leave New York and return you to the various stadiums.
This is Tampa, and it's a beautiful day here in Tampa Bay, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with a 14-7 lead over the St. Louis Cardinals. We'll be back with the second half in a moment. The preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service by the National Football League. John McKay, his second year as the coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And last week, picking up that first win in the history of the franchise, and his club now trying to make it 2 in a row with a 14-7 halftime lead over the Cardinals. Emerson Boozer, let's take a look now at the statistics in the first half of play.
They're pretty good, Gary. I think right now they're pretty much balanced, even though Tampa Bay leads by a touchdown, but overall they're pretty much head-to-head.
Two things in there, the turnovers, interceptions, one by Arneson of the Cardinals. Cotney had one for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And another statistic not on there is Terry Metcalf is out. He strained a knee in the early going of that game.
That's a big stat, too.
So the time of possession by the Cardinals is surprising to me, isn't it to you?
No, not really, because the Cardinals are a club that can play ball control. They can catch up or do just about anything they want to do with the football when they're ready to play.
But other than that one drive, I don't remember them having the ball that much. But they did, and they have had it over 17 minutes, but they trail by 7 points as Tampa Bay striking on the long touchdown pass to Morris Owens and the 1-yard smash by Lewis Carter. So as we get ready to go, the Cardinals will be kicking off to start this second half. Ragsdale will be going back deep along with Ike Higgins. From the 35-yard line, Jim Bakken, who, by the way, is playing in his 218th game today, and that's a bunch.
Mr. Durability, he's been there a long time, still has great accuracy. And remember him beating us out in St. Louis one year. The Jets came there. He hit a 52-yarder at the close of the ball game.
Well, he is fourth leading scorer all time. He has 1,319 points. He trails Blanda and Groza and Cox, and that's pretty fair company.
That's the elite, cream of the crop.
Ready to go now, second half. 14-7. Tampa Bay with the lead. They led 14-0 in the early part of this game as the second half is underway. This is going to be Ragsdale. Ragsdale, the 25, and the young man who was on the injured reserve list all last year from North Carolina A&T returns it out, and Jeff Severson there to make the stop, a 19-yard return. So at the 27-yard line, Tampa Bay has the football.
That's a pretty good return. Normally, if you let the ball go into the end zone, you bring it out to the 20. So if you can advance it 20 yards forward, anything beyond the 20-yard line, you got a pretty good return. 7 yards he got that time, a +7.
Carter and Ed Williams, the two running backs now behind Gary Huff, who threw the touchdown pass, his third of the year. And this is going to be Carter. Carter advances it to the 30, maybe the 31. Mark Arneson closing in on the play.
One thing I've noticed about the Tampa Bay running backs, they all tend to dance a little bit behind the line of scrimmage rather than going ahead and hit the hole. That's design.
Arneson is hurt. It looks like he might be holding his arm as he went down on that play. He's up now. And at the 30-yard line will have a delay in the action. Mark Arneson, who's played very steady football this year for the St. Louis Cardinals.
At the top of the season, the Cardinals were concerned about their linebacking core, thought that might be one of their weaknesses, but this crew has played very well.
We have a change now in a score in that Green Bay, San Francisco game. The Packers now leading 9-7. David Whitehurst hit Rich McGeorge, 8 yards, a touchdown, and they missed a point after. Boy, this is a tough day on those point afters. Houston and Cincinnati game, there was one missed in that. Kurt Allerman, the rookie from Penn State, replaces Arneson at linebacker. Second down, 6 yards to go. 2 tight ends are in now for Tampa Bay. Notziger along with Novak, and Huff wants to throw. Morris Owens. So Morris Owens goes out of bounds across the 35-yard line. That's going to be a couple of yards short of the first down. This Morris Owens, quite a football player, coming in here with over 30 catches. He's already set a club record. Last year he caught 30. He was a 5th-round draft pick of the Miami Dolphins. Played a couple of games for him. Then he went on the injured reserve and was acquired on waivers. And there's been some pretty good acquisition by the waiver route of this Tampa Bay team.
Tampa has rebuilt his club by the trade and pick it up from the waiver list and along with the draft. Done a good job.
3rd down and 2 now for Tampa Bay. DeBose, who's checked back in, and I don't know. I don't think he got that first down. He's going to be a yard short of it. So it's going to bring up a 4th down. Good reaction that time by St. Louis. It'll bring up 4th down for Tampa Bay.
It's going to be very close here. Watch DuBose. He knows that he has to try to get as much as he can. It's an inside power play, and he tries to roll to get the necessary yardage. And they're going to be very close to it.
So 4th down now. Steve Niels is in on that last tackle. And Dave Green, number 4, goes back to kick. Bill Bradley back for the Cardinals. Bradley had a 63-yard kick in that first half. It was not the type of kick he thought he was going to get, but it just kept rolling. Did I say Bradley? I meant Dave Green.
That's all right, Gary. We got you right there. Number 4, Dave Green.
Here he goes. Kicking away from Bradley. Bradley at the 30-yard line. I tell you, Bradley does a heck of a job returning those kicks as he makes it to the 36-yard line and goes down. That will be a 33-yard kick this time by Green.
That was pretty tough to get out of. It was like a mouse in a maze. He was surrounded by orange jerseys, and he got out of there.
14-7 our score. Tampa Bay with the lead. 13:36 to go, 3rd quarter. The Cardinals have the football at the 35-yard line. They've had a tough time rushing the ball. The leading rusher thus far is Wayne Morris, 7 carries for 30 yards. Only 68 yards on the ground thus far. Steve Jones in the backfield along with Wayne Morris, and this is Morris wedging it out to the 39-yard line. Last week, New Orleans with 92 yards rushing, and the Saints have had some good games as far as moving the ball on the ground. Dewey Selman making the tackle. Morris coming back in the attack, and the Cardinals glad to have him back.
Gary, the running back position is one area where you cannot really let down, even though it might be your last ball game or you might not have an interest in playing. But once you touch the football, you've got to move. If you don't get moved, you're going to get your head torn off.
2nd down, 7. You speak as though you have experience.
Oh, ho.
13 minutes to go in this 3rd quarter. Wayne Morris again. 40, 45, and I believe he's got the first down. Let's see where they mark it. That was Richard Wood that knocked the legs out from under him. As Wayne Morris just across the 45-yard line. His forward progress may have gotten him that first down. And it is. So St. Louis picking up the first down. This Morris is the type of guy that's very deceptive, Emerson. You look at him, you don't think he's as big as he is, but he has a big, strong legs.
That's what you want to get if you're a running back, whether you have to run inside or out. You want to get your lower thighs in great shape along with your hips.
A first down at the 46 for St. Louis. Come back to Morris again. He's a busy guy, but he's not going to go anywhere this time. Dave Lewis is there, Dewey Selman, also Richard Wood. All 3 of them reacted.
At the point of attack.
Just absolutely nothing developed on that play at all. Helen Reddy sings and Ken Mayberry dances as the Carol Burnett Show once again brighten Sunday at a new time tonight at 10 o'clock Eastern, right here on CBS.
Did you say Sunday night?
That's Sunday night.
No wonder I couldn't find her last night. I'm looking for her.
That's tonight, 10 o'clock, 9 Central, right here on CBS. From the 44-yard line, Gray to the top of the screen. It's now 2nd down and 12. A delay. At times, Steve Jones able to get to about the midfield stripe, and that's all. Oh, it's going to bring up still. Long yardage to go. About 6 yards to go. Dave Pear making the tackle.
It looks as though Hart is content here with running the football. He's mixing it well with power plays, trying to come off tackle. Now a good draw play, which gives Steve Jones a lot of running room up the middle. Not enough to break it, but to get 4, 5, 6 yards.
3rd down and still 6 yards to go. Again, 2 receivers at the top of the screen, and Harris and Gray. Jimmy Hart. Complete to Ike Harris, and Harris has the first down short of the 35-yard line. That's the same pass play earlier, Emerson, that he hit Harris in the first half.
He's going to do it until they can stop it. He finds that on 3rd down situations, you're going to go back to what you used previously to get what you need, and this time he came right back to Harris with a little hook right down beyond the linebackers. Nice completion.
So the ball now just short of the 35. First down, 14-7. The Cardinals trailing. Gray goes to the top of the screen. Steve Jones, Wayne Morris, the running backs. Hart wants to throw. Mel Gray. Mel Gray looks like he got some tough footing down there after he went past the end zone, and he may be shaken up. We'll see. He just tangled up in the wires down there. Well, Mel Gray had his man beaten, but just a little overthrown. Emerson, you're playing a defensive back, and you have number 85 flying down there. They must scare you a little bit, huh?
I tell you what you got to do. You got to turn, you got to get on your horse, get on your motorcycle, anything with speed, and try to keep up, because this guy can blow past you.
Try to hold his jersey when he goes by.
Oh, yeah. And hope you don't get caught. Most guys that do try to hold him, they try to give it a short hold. Barely peep the fingers out from the jersey and hold on to it.
2nd down, 10. By the way, Ike Harris has 4 catches in this game for 52 yards. He's played very, very well. Now Gray comes to the bottom of the screen. There's the stats on Jim Hart. There's a delay to Wayne Morris. And Wayne Morris not going to go too far. So they tried to cross him up on a 2nd and 10. Tampa Bay reacted pretty well, particularly Leroy Selman, 6'3", 260-pounder. He won about every award you could win at Oklahoma. He was hurt last year. He had a knee injury, started just 6 games. He didn't require surgery, but he has come back, and what a job he's done.
Many people ask about the draw play, but the draw play with a passing game is like mustard, having mustard on a hot dog. Once you can throw the ball well, or a quarterback that's noted to be a good passer will work the draw play a lot.
This is 3rd and 7 now. Jim Otis has come in. Hart back to throw. Broken up, the flag. Great reaction that time by Dave Lewis, who got his hands up and batted that ball down. Hart had that trouble last week a couple of times. People reaching up, those big linemen. Lewis is a 6'4" linebacker.
Take a look at it again here. We don't know exactly where the holding comes from, but look at number 54 at the top of the screen. There are a lot of bodies all bunched up there. And what comes out is a yellow flag. Number 57, Dave Lewis, is held on him. He's on the left side of the screen.
So the holding call going against St. Louis. They're going to decline it, bring it up a 4th down. Danny Reese will go back for this punt. Dwayne Carroll will be kicking from the 47 of the Buccaneers. 9:21 to go, 3rd quarter. So a drive by the Cardinals is stalled. Carroll's going to go for the corner. And Carroll's got Ken Stone down there, and Stone downs it on the 1-yard line. Beautiful execution that time between Dwayne Carroll and Ken Stone.
You try to practice that kind of thing sometimes. You get your man downfield, get it up high enough, hope that it bounces into one of your defender's hands.
Ken Stone last year playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and making a fine play. So Tampa Bay now operating from their own end zone after that fine place punt and recovery by Ken Stone. Lewis Carter in the backfield. Joined there by Jimmy DeVos. From the 1-yard line, Gary Huff. He's going to throw on first down. Morris Owens. And Carl Allen just got him. Morris Owens, who caught a 61-yard touchdown earlier, almost duplicated that, except it would have been a lot longer. And so from the 1-yard line, they're now at the St. Louis 37-yard line, 63 yards.
Gary Huff has done exactly what he should have done. Go back to the thing that has treated you best, and that has been Morris Owens over there on Allen. You go back when you hit goal before, and again, it's just not a nugget. It's a big chunk of goal, some 60 yards.
63 yards. He had a 61-yarder earlier, and Morris Owens is having a day.
The reason I say that, Gary, athletes should be creatures of habit. Go good habits. Come back to the thing that works for you best.
So Tampa Bay wasting no time. Lewis Carter on the pitch out. And Carter is inside the 35-yard line to the 33. Eric Williams, the rookie from USC, over there to make the stop. You know, the passing attack of Tampa Bay has just absolutely been nothing this year. They had thrown, coming into this game, 29 interceptions, only 2 touchdown passes. But here today, they are striking and striking with big gainers.
Gary Huff has been their most consistent passer, though.
He's 5 of 9 for 155 yards. That's pretty good on 5 completions. Morris Owens to the top of the screen, and Gary Huff having quite a day thus far. He gives up. This is Carter, and Lewis Carter close to the 30-yard line. Tampa Bay with a 14-7 lead. Boy, a touchdown now would really be big, the way that Tampa Bay defense plays.
It will put a lot of pressure on the heart attack crew.
Just close to the 30-yard line, where it's going to bring up 3rd down. Still 3 yards to go. Isaac Higgins to the top of the screen. Morris Owens comes to the bottom of the screen. On a 3rd and 3. Huff's going to throw. Far side, Higgins. Higgins trying to get the first down. He didn't get it. Carl Allen over there. Also coming over, Eric Williams. 4th down.
Did you see that? Eric Williams at the legs of Isaac Higgins. Watch number 55 at the top of your screen. He could have gotten himself a penalty here. They had stopped Higgins. Williams had him. Notice now 55, as he gets off the ground, he starts to drag him back as if you're in a rodeo event.
Well, let's see. It's 4th down, and all indications are they're going to go for it. Mike Dawson coming in. Some changes being made, and we're going to have a timeout call by Tampa Bay. So with 6:27, Gary Huff over visiting with John McKay. I wonder if his hair has gotten any whiter since coming down here to Tampa Bay. It was a long year.
I don't know, but there are some great stories you told about John McKay. One being, early in the year, they had the T-shirts drop McKay in the bay, and last week retrieve McKay.
So there's timeout, 6:27, Tampa Bay leading 14-7. On the 4th down, less than a yard to go. Gary Huff is going for it. He completes the pass to DeVos, and he's got the first down. Jimmy DeVos on a very gutty call on a 4th down and a yard to go. Catches the pass from Gary Huff. And Emerson Boozer, Gary Huff is having quite a day.
It's got to make him feel happy along with his fans. You don't expect Gary Huff or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to be moving like this against the Cardinals, but they are. A call against all odds here. Tampa Bay just don't do this kind of thing, but yet there they are.
4th and 1, and they get it. Ed Williams down, Lewis Carter coming into the backfield. At the 12-yard line, 1st down, Tampa Bay. They lead 14-7. Higgins goes to the top of the screen now. In motion comes Carter. There's a give now to Ed Williams, and Williams gets to the 10-yard line for a gain of 2. Tim Carney, Eric Williams combining on the tackle. I can't believe the way this Tampa Bay team is playing today that they had to go this long to pick up their first win of last week.
They had scared the dickens or the daylight out of a number of teams around the league, Detroit being one, the New York Giants being the other. They barely got away from this club.
Well, this crowd is fired up, aren't they? Just short of the 10-yard line now. Second down, 8 yards to go. They can pick up a first and goal at the 2-yard line. Morris Owens to the top of the screen. Gary Huff is looking his way. Owens couldn't get it to him. And Owens is dumped now as Tim Carney lets him noise around.
They just call it an awareness check.
And the crowd here reacting.
I just saw a shot of John McKay on the sideline. He had his dark sunshades on, and he would think that he put them on because the sun is shining in his eyes, but I don't think he wants you to see the glee in his eyes, this club being on top.
Well, Gary Huff now 7 of 12 for 173 yards. Owens has caught 4 of those for 140 yards. 5 defensive backs now have come in for St. Louis. As we come to a 3rd and 8. McKay and Owens, the wide receivers. Give to Lewis Carter. He's got a convoy of blockers, but it breaks down. He's still on his feet. He got away from Ron Yankowski and then was able to get just short of the 5-yard line where it brings up 4th down. And the field goal team will be coming in.
There was something definitely wrong with that play. Developed well. I think Carter was much too far off his convoy because everything opened up, and he should have been right there to take a break. Should have gotten much more out of that play.
So Dave Green, who has kicked 5 of 10 field goals, will come in. This could be a very, very important field goal in this game with 4.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Green will be attempting a 22, let's make it a 23-yarder. They back up a yard. McKay will hold. Dave Green, he got it started low, but he got it. He didn't get that ball up very quickly. But it counts, and Tampa Bay now has taken a 17-7 lead. 23-yard field goal by Dave Green. And they're on their feet here at Tampa Stadium as the Buccaneers lead it. 3-3 in that big game in New Jersey, and we understand Walter Payton has carried the ball 12 times for 12 yards in that game. What a difficult chore he has today. Bill Bradley is back deep for this kick by Dave Green. And Bradley coming out across the 25, and Bill Bradley winds his way to the 30-yard line, and he is destroyed as he goes to the sideline. 27-yard return, and Bill Bradley's been a highlight of this game for the Cardinals, his punt and kickoff return. About 6 feet under. 17-7 our score after a 23-yard field goal by Dave Green. Mel Gray, along with Ike Harris, flanked to the top of the screen. Jones, Morris, the running backs behind Jim Hart from the 30-yard line. On first down, Hart wasting no time. This is J.V. Kane. And I'll tell you, their coverage was excellent by Jarris White. It looked like Emerson, he wanted to go the other side, but he had to pull the ball back in and try to get something to the near sideline.
More importantly, for a quarterback to stand back to that long, looking to the left side, not pumping immediately, but he looked downfield, set back, pumped once to his left, looked over to his right, waited a second, then released the football. Great protection up front by the Cardinals.
So that'll bring up a 2nd and 10 from the 30-yard line. 3:57 remaining in this 3rd quarter, and Tampa Bay, I'm sure anybody looking at this score throughout the National Football League is shocking people. Last week, somebody might think they could beat New Orleans, but here the Cardinals trail 17-7.
Saw a young man downstairs before the ball game had a jersey on saying, "Look out, Super Bowl, here we come." He didn't tell me what year, though.
I'll tell you what, they could really build for next year if they could win today. Gray and Harris to the top of the screen on a 2nd and 10 for the Cardinals. They give to Steve Jones. Jones breaks out across the 40. And Steve Jones has a first down as he's to the 48-yard line. Steve Jones has had some leg injuries this year, but he has been a very, very efficient back for the St. Louis Cardinals as Selman makes the tackle.
Look at it here. It's a power play. Takes his lead guard, turns up, he gets a good block in there. And now just couldn't stretch it out.
You know, Jones last year rushed for 451 yards. He had only 43 yards coming into this game. if you look at the Cardinals rushing, they're about 700 yards short of last year's output coming into this game. First down from the 48. Wayne Morris, and Morris gets into Tampa Bay territory, and that's all, the 49-yard line. Dave Lewis, Council Rudolph, Dewey Selman, to name a few. That'll bring up a second down. 2 hard-earned yards for number 24, a 5th-round draft pick a year ago. There's Dave Pear. They tell me that Pear and Selman never give up. They'll come from behind, they'll catch you, they'll never give up on any particular play.
Look at the hair coming out from under his helmet.
He's a little scary down there.
Vicious looking. Wow.
Second down, a long 7 to go. A delay to Morris. And Morris across the 45. Good job. That play worked earlier in the first half as Richard Wood tripped him up. And we come to a third down. Third down and still 2 yards to go. Green Bay leading San Francisco. Second quarter, 16-7. Willie Buchanan picked off one and with 29 yards for a touchdown. Some big games. They played 14 weeks and it's taken every week to decide who's going where. Mel Gray and Harris to the bottom of the screen. There's your down and distance, 3rd and 2. Steve Jones, the running back, along with Morris. Morris with the ball, and Morris trying to get the first down, and he's got it. Wayne Morris with some very resourceful running inside the 40-yard line. First down for the Cardinals.
On the last 2 running plays, Wayne Morris has shown me something. Nice little slide on the other side, and now really digging here, coming out of the backfield where it appears as though he would have been trapped to get the first down. Showing me a lot.
He has 56 yards now on 14 carries. Emerson, he's had some trouble with these vertebrae in his back. And he did not play last week, but didn't start today, but he's seeing a lot of action now. It's Otis and Morris in the backfield. First down. Hart to Otis. Otis going to get about 4 yards. Looks like he might have 5, and Cotney came up there. They think Cotney's one of the hardest hitting safeties in the NFL.
A young safety coming along strong, but that offensive line of the Cardinals showed me a lot that time. They cut down the whole right side of the Tampa Bay's defensive unit between Petty and Young. They wiped that thing out.
There's Deerdorf with that special mask that he has since he broke his jaw. He had his jaws unwired this week, but had to have them wired up again for today's game. And then eventually he'll have them all taken off. He's lost 41 pounds since he had his jaws wired. That's a tough way to lose weight. Second down, 7. Morris. And Wayne Morris close to the 30, and Wayne Morris now a workman-like back. Dave Lewis making the stop for Tampa Bay.
Again, Young and Dober out front. Young being the lead guard for Morris. Turned the thing up. Got pretty good yardage on it.
Well, they're going with their strength right now, Emerson, and that's behind that offensive line considered by many to be the best in professional football. As the third quarter now has come to a close. That's the end of the third quarter with the score, Tampa Bay 17, St. Louis 7. We now pause for a word from your local station. Look at this score now, Emerson. The Giants leading 6-3. Joe Danello, the 19-yard field goal in that game. The last we heard, Peyton had carried the ball 12 times for 12 yards. Chicago loses. The Redskins are in.
I understand that the weather is so bad that Walter Payton needs some ice skates to move around.
And also another score, and boy, this is a peculiar game. Houston leading Cincinnati 15-6. Just a moment ago, Ken Anderson was sacked in the end zone for a safety. Earlier in the game, Houston missed a point after, so that's a peculiar score. 15-6, and that's with 6:05 to go in the third quarter. Right here now, we come to a third down and a yard to go. Wayne Morris and Jim Otis are running backs. We start the fourth quarter. Here comes Otis out, and he's got the first down. And the Cardinals have 15 minutes to do something about this score as they trail 17-7, and right now Dave Lewis is unhappy about something. Dave Lewis. They feel he's a future All-Pro. There's that score. 15 points.
Since the incident with the Miami Dolphins, Miami and St. Louis, no team will take any harassment from these St. Louis Cardinals.
Jones and Morris continue to be the running backs. as they now have first down, the ball just inside the 30, mark it at the 28.5. Thus far, the Cardinals with 12 first downs. Tampa with 10. Steve Jones. Jones cuts it up. Beautiful piece of running as he's just close to the 20-yard line. Leroy Selman got him. And it didn't look to me like he had that kind of running room, but he knifed through there.
I like what Steve Jones did. He saw that he had an opening. He turned it up. Now watch some of the Tampa Bay linemen try to reach at him with an arm. A good running back should never allow himself to be tackled by a set of arms. Take those arms with you, get on upfield, and that's exactly what Steve Jones did. Both attempted tackles, tacklers were trying to use their arms or their hands, and you can't do it to a good back in any league.
Pickup of 8 yards, 2nd and 2. Gray to the bottom of the screen, Harris to the top. Just short of the 20-yard line. The Cardinals are going to have to start to make their move as we're just starting the 4th quarter. Wayne Morris, and Morris is tripped up. His forward progress will be short of that first down. That was Counsell Rudolph that cut him down. Counsell, of course, coming from the Cardinals in the veteran allocation draft. They feel he's the most underrated defensive lineman on the team. He had 6.5 sacks as you look at Wayne Morris. Well, they're going to give him yardage across the 20, but it's still going to be short of that first down. They got a yard to go yet. A yard to go now for that first down. Cardinals with a 7-6 record coming in here. They'd like to win this one, have the winning season. Al Gray to the bottom of the screen. 3rd down, a yard to go. Give to Morris. Did he get it? It looks like with second effort he fell forward. Again, Morris just on determination, Emerson, getting what might be a first down.
That might be what's wrong with his back, too. Notice that as he got tangled up there a bit, he turned his back leaning forward. You can't protect yourself when you know that you need the first down, and that he did. He just turned everything loose and let it all hang out.
They're going to measure to see if he got it. If he didn't, we're going to have a 4th down coming up. When you're trailing 17-7 with 12:40 to go in the game, you might have a decision to make here.
I like what he did.
He didn't get it, I don't believe, did he? Boy, he did not.
He said everything after it, though. He will never be accused of not trying.
All right, what's Don Coryell going to do now? You're trailing 17-7. Do you kick the field goal now and try to come back and get the touchdown later, or do you go for all of it right now?
I'd say go for broke.
And they're making no indication of doing anything but that right now. Still quite a bit of time, 12:40 remaining. They marked the ball just inside the 19, and there's Don Coryell. See the intensity in this guy, a very emotional guy. He regrets that some of the things came public that he said, but he doesn't deny any of it that he said. Here we go, 4th down inches. Straight ahead, they got it.
Looking at that short yardage situation, Gary.
Wait a minute, the ball was fumbled. Tampa Bay recovered it. Looks like Dave Lewis getting up. That's Counsell Rudolph, number 78. That was a delay, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. He went for broke, and then he comes out with nothing.
And Dave Lewis is the guy that you're looking at now that recovered the fumble. And now Tampa Bay with a 17-7 lead and 12:22 left. All right, first down after the fumble recovery for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A major break in this game. Dave Lewis pouncing on it. This is Lewis Carter with the football, and he's wrapped up immediately. Good reaction that time. Coming over on the fly was Mike Dawson, number 73. Also Ken Reeves. On that last play, that was really difficult to spot the fumble. It was all in the middle of the pileup when all of a sudden Dave Lewis with the fumble recovery at the 12:22 mark. So after apparently getting it on 4th and 1, they lose the football.
It's kind of tough when you go into a stack like that, a short yardage situation. You got the football. You really want to cover it up because when you go in there, they give you a real thrashing right quick, trying to find the football.
Loss of a yard on that last play. 2nd down, 11. Jimmy DeBose in the backfield now, joined there by Lewis Carter. This is DeBose. And they're both getting some yardage, coming out close to the 25-yard line. Oh, this crowd right now is fired up. They are reacting to every development right now. Well, you got to figure if they'd win today, it'd be the first victory ever here in Tampa Stadium. Their other win coming on the road in the Superdome.
What I like about these Cardinals, they go along, they'll play. They look like they're dead, not moving. All of a sudden, they come alive, especially in the fourth quarter. Plenty of time, 11 minutes, 9 seconds.
This Sunday, Emerson, to remind everybody, 12:30, the Buffalo Braves against the Cleveland Cavaliers. The NBA on CBS. Gary Huff has Carter. DeBose is his running backs. Lewis Carter, the second man, and he's going nowhere. Back to the 25, and that's all. So now, Tampa Bay is going to have to get rid of the football. Still time remaining. 10:42 left in this fourth quarter of play. Dave Green will come in on fourth down to kick. Bill Bradley will go back. Well, I tell you, Emerson, that's going to be tough to punt and do the placements also. You're a busy man out there. You see very few teams do that.
I'll tell you what happens, too. This guy knocks somebody out of another job. A punter along with a kicker. He's both, so one man loses the job. It helps Tampa Bay by picking up another man.
Here's Green kicking now on fourth down and 3. Beautiful kick. Bill Bradley going back at the 30. And that's all he's going to get to the 30-yard line. Larry Mucker, who is one of the outstanding special teams player in the NFL. Down there, the rookie from Arizona State to cover him just short of the 30. And the Cardinals, with their work cut out for them, trailing 17-7. And a moon over Tampa Bay.
Blue moon.
Is that over Miami? I don't know. But anyway, there's our score, 17-7. Beautiful day here in the Tampa Bay area. Right now, St. Louis having their work cut out for him. The ball at the 29-yard line, trailing 17-7. Ike Harris has got it, and he has a first down. So Jim Hart now is going to try to bring him back. They've been in this situation so often. Some scores. Atlanta leading New Orleans 28-7. That's in the third quarter. Martkowski throwing a touchdown pass in that game. And Green Bay now has taken the lead over San Francisco 16-14.
I understand the Bears have scored on the Giants, too, Gary.
We'll update that as soon as possible, as we'll keep you posted on the activity in the National Football League. They did score, but they missed the point after, and that's been the story today everywhere. Here's Hart. Hart going down here for Mel Gray. And it's intercepted by Mike Washington. He'll be rolled down, but another big interception. And this team, this Tampa Bay team, had 6 interceptions last week, and they picked off 2 today. Topney with 1, and now Mike Washington. He had Mel Gray covered very well on that one.
It looks as though Jim Hart really shouldn't have thrown that one, because Washington had the inside position on Mel Gray. And once you throw the ball inside, let's watch it again. Once you throw that ball inside, there's no other choice but for the defender to catch the football. You'll see Washington come into your screen at the left side there. He looks like the intended receiver. Ball shouldn't have been thrown.
Well, Mike Washington now has 5 interceptions this year. The ball at the 9-yard line. Tampa Bay with Williams in the backfield. Joined there by Carter, and this is Ed Williams. He fumbles the ball, but he got on it. At the 7-yard line, he just couldn't get that ball tucked away. Looking ahead now, the NFL playoffs, and we're still waiting to see who's going to be in this one, Emerson. I'll tell you, this has been some year, but Monday, December 26th, we'll have that NFL playoff doubleheader. 4 teams starting all the activity, and then will be followed by the NFC Championship game on January 1st in the Super Bowl. Right now, it could be Washington, L.A., Dallas, and Minnesota. Lewis Carter and Jimmy DeBose in the backfield from the 7-yard line. This is DeBose, and he's going to get to the 9, and that's all. So 2nd and 12. He gets back to about the original line of scrimmage, so it's 3rd and 10. The Giants have fallen behind. Chicago leading 9-6. They hang on. It'll be the Bears going into the playoffs instead of the Redskins.
Is that true? Ed's so mixed up, I can't follow with him.
That's right. If Chicago wins, they are in.
Chicago, Minnesota. Ooh.
Right now we have Third down and virtually 10 yards to go. 5 defensive backs in now. John McKay split to the top of the screen. Morris Owens to the bottom. Here comes DeBose. Tampa Bay being very conservative. And on a third down and let's say 9, they don't get it. It brings up fourth down, and the Cardinals are going to get the ball. Bob Giblin coming to make the stop. So, St. Louis, who fumbled away a golden opportunity moments ago, got to get it back. Bill Bradley will go back for the kick from Dave Green.
The point I was making earlier about Dave Green, if you get a guy that can punt and do your field goal kicking, that means that you can carry an extra man on your roster. You might need a third quarterback, or you might need an extra defensive lineman. Having a guy like Green can afford a team the opportunity to pick up another man.
But at such an age of specialization, you wonder if anybody is capable of doing that. But he's trying it. Of course, the injured Alan Levitt's what precipitated it. Here's the kick. He's been hit. We're going to have a roughing the kicker. Bill Bradley dropped at the 40, but roughing the kicker is coming up. Dave Green was really belted inside the 5-yard line.
I don't think he should get an Oscar, but certainly an Emmy or just recognition, because it was not that big of a hit. Something went around the leg. You be the judge. Look at it again. They were after it, but not a big hit. Right on the rump. And that's about it. He turns flips.
You're absolutely right. That's a great job of acting down there. Automatic first down now for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the 7-10 mark. You picked that one out. You didn't do that, did you? You never put on an act out there, did you?
Oh, yeah, especially if I help somebody.
Personal foul, running into the kicker, number 23. First down.
Actually, I think it was 74, Patulski, who hit him first, and then 23 would be Ken Stone, who fell at his feet.
Gary Jesper handed a note here. Walter Payton now has 14 yards and 13 carries.
Isn't that incredible?
Well, they were on his case today.
Well, of course, they had the bad weather in the New York area. Williams, Carter, the running backs. First down now, the ball at the 18-yard line. This is Lewis Carter. And Carter is cut down. A fine play by Ken Reeves, a veteran safety. Help from Eric Williams, but it was Kenny Reeves. Did a good job, and now discussion going on again. A frustrated Cardinal football team in Tampa Bay is fired up as Mike Dawson and Darrell Carlton having some things to say to each other.
St. Louis beginning to play very well up and down that defensive front and linebacking core. They're stringing things out, not really giving you an opening.
But it's the turnovers. It's been the interception by Washington, the fumble. And Don Coryell looking on, wondering if they're going to get the football with enough time to do something about this decision. Trailing now 17-7. DeBose, Carter, the running backs. This is Jimmy DeBose. 25. Kenny Reeves got him. And he's apparently short of that first down. Let's see. It's going to be very close. You can hear DeBose. Boy, they really got on him when he starts running. Very popular football player here in Tampa Bay.
The big fellow really started to roll there.
He's carried the ball 18 times now, Emerson, 49 yards. The Fiesta Bowl from Phoenix, Penn State and Arizona State, Sunday, December 25th at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. That'll be followed by the Sun Bowl on December 31st on a Saturday. That's Stanford against LSU. And a biggie, the Cotton Bowl, Texas against Notre Dame. That's the day after New Year's, January 2nd, Monday, right here on CBS. A yard short of the first down, and nothing developed on that play. Gary Huff, I guess, trying to go forward on it. They got a timeout right now as they look things over. He just disappeared from view on that play.
It's like running into a haystack, sticking your head into a haystack.
Looks like Charlie Davis getting up a little slow there.
The only difference in sticking your head in a haystack and sticking it into a pile of bodies like that, they tend to whip on it a little bit.
You think they got it?
It's going to be close.
They didn't have much, about a yard to pick it up. Let's look at it again and see if we can figure out what happened here.
Watch him stick his head in there now. Number 55, Williams there, I know he starts to put a little pounding on that head. You can't see the right arm, but you can bet it's working down below.
And they got it. First down. First down for Tampa Bay at the 28-yard line. 5:19 remaining in the game. Time now starting to become very important here in the fourth quarter.
The Cardinals have tightened up. They're getting very stingy on their defensive yardage given up, but they've got to turn the ball over, create some kind of turnover, be it a fumble or an interception.
Slow coming out of the huddle now as we go inside 5 minutes. A 10-point lead. DeBose and Carter, the running backs. This is DeBose again, across the 30 to the 31-yard line. Pickup of a couple of yards. It'll bring up second down. Let's make it 3, 2nd and 7. John McKay comes into the huddle. They send the play information through. 95 yards rushing now for Tampa Bay. The Cardinals with 138. Second down. There you see it, 6 yards to go. DeBose again, and this time he's hit hard. Charlie Davis got there first. Might have gotten another yard, and already we come to a third down again. 4 minutes remaining. Atlanta leading in the fourth quarter over New Orleans, 35-7. Bartkowski with yet another touchdown pass. The Atlanta team's played good defense, Emerson, but their offense is going.
Would you think that Strand might be in trouble down there?
Well, I don't know. At the 32.5-yard line. Third down, still 5 yards to go for Tampa Bay. Give to Lewis Carter. He's not going to get anything this time, and it's going to bring up a fourth down. But the Cardinal defense reacts well again. It's been the big plays in this game. The 61-yard touchdown pass and a 63-yard completion that set up a field goal that has hurt St. Louis today, plus their own turnovers offensively. So the ball is at the 34-yard line, and St. Louis now has called a timeout. On a fourth down, they call a timeout, and Dave Green will get ready to kick for Tampa Bay.
How many times have you seen the Cardinals do this? They get the ball back with minutes to go in the ball game, and whammo, before you know it, they're on top.
The 2-minute warning now has been executed in New Jersey in that game between the New York Giants and Chicago Bears, and the Bears have a 9-6 lead. By the way, that go-ahead touchdown was scored by rookie Robin Earl, 5 yards out. They had the point after blocked, and that point after still could be important in that game.
Yes, it could.
And there you see Tampa Bay, Jim Hart on the sideline. Jim this year came in with a total of 13 touchdown passes. That's 5 below what he threw a year ago. As Bill Bradley goes back for this anticipated punt from Dave Green. 3:12 left in the game. Bradley saying stay away from it. They're going to let it hit. And the ball's going to roll inside the 35-yard line of St. Louis, and the Cardinals now with 3 minutes left in the game after a 31-yard kick, down by 10 points. Cardinals came in here with a 3-game losing streak. They'd hate to finish out with 4 in a row, but right now they're in danger of that happening. We'll be back with the final 3 minutes from Tampa Stadium in just a moment. Jim Hart with his team down by 10 points. 3 minutes remaining in the game. They have the ball at the 34-yard line. Hart, 10 of 18 today for 87 yards and 2 interceptions. Hart on first down. To Jerry Latin. He fumbled the ball, but he recovered it. Now they're going to roll it a completion? No, incomplete. Incomplete pass, 2nd and 10.
That's kind of strange, though. You see that?
Kind of nonchalant about whether to get on that ball.
Oh, yeah.
Houston now leading Cincinnati 15-13. After a 15-6 lead, Ken Anderson hit Pat McAnally. 11-yard touchdown pass. That's in the fourth quarter now. At the 34-yard line, 2nd and 10. Hart to throw again. Protection is there. Complete. Steve Jones, he's got a first down. Steve Jones who's one of the fine receivers for any back in the National Football League, latched onto that one. First down. Last year, he had a very, very fine year, probably his finest in the NFL. Tampa Bay wasting as much time as they can. They stop the clock until they get back to their defensive spots. 2:36 left. There's your timeouts remaining. Hart again. Jones again. And this time, not going to get anything. They're going to lose some yardage. Back to the 45-yard line. Beautiful coverage that time by Dave Lewis. Also coming up is Jarris White. So the loss will be back inside the 45 to the 44. They lose 3 yards on that play. Second down, 13. 2:27 remaining. This is one football team you just don't want to get behind. They are tough. Tampa Bay will battle you for everything.
They gave up only 20 or more points 4 times throughout the entire season.
Look at Dave Kerr when he lines up. I mean, he is right on the helmet of Tom Banks, isn't he?
He's breathing for Banks. He lets him.
Back to throw, Hart again. Mel Gray. What a defensive play that time. Coming over was Cotney. We have an update on that Giant and Chicago Bear game. Is now tied 9-9 with 38 seconds to go. Looks like they're going to go to overtime, and there's a lot to be decided in that game, deciding the fate of whether Chicago or Washington goes to the playoffs. You think the Redskins aren't watching that game?
They're on the edges of the chairs, hanging from the rafters.
I bet George Allen's gone through at least 4 ice cream cones.
And worn out the bib of 2 of his caps.
Third down now. 13 yards to go. Boy, what a defensive play by Cotney just a moment ago. Hart again. Throwing the ball to Gray. Came back and he got it, and that's a first down. And that ball, I think it may have slipped a little out of Jim Hart's hand. And the 2-minute warning now approaching. Another first down as Mel Gray, coming back to the ball, latches onto it. First down at the 38-yard line. A 2-minute warning is here. So with 2 minutes left at Tampa Stadium, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers close to winning their 2nd straight game. Jim Hart has just returned from the sideline. The 2-minute warning has just been executed. It's a first down for the Cardinals at the 38-yard line of Tampa Bay. A 10-point lead by the Buccaneers. The Cardinals in danger of losing their 4th in a row. Hart on first down. Beautiful protection. Icarus. And Icarus to the 15, spins his way inside the 10. Icarus having one of his best days. And he's inside the 10-yard line. First and goal, St. Louis. 1:45. You see it as they stop the clock. Icarus had 4 catches prior to that one. He's made some big catches. St. Louis now, they score here. You know what's going to happen after that. They're going to have an onside kick. So this thing is not over yet.
Sometimes I wonder if Coryell could hide the clock from his players and tell them it's 2 minutes to go in a ball game. They start moving the football.
On the CBS Sports Spectacular next Saturday at 4:30, we'll have the World's Professional Skateboard Speed Championships. Taped earlier in Akron, Ohio, we'll have 3 categories: the giant slalom, standing board, and the skate carts. And then that'll be followed by the European Figure Skating Championships that were taped last year in Helsinki, Finland. The top Olympians, emerging young stars. Next Saturday, 4:30 Eastern Time, the CBS Sports Spectacular. Jim Hart in this game has completed. Thus far, we'll check him. Harris has caught 5 passes for 82 yards. Jim Hart has been very busy on this last drive. He has hit 13 of 24 passes for 147 yards. So he has mounted the yardage up. But it's been the turnovers. First a fumble, an interception, and a roughing the kicker that's kept the Cardinals out of the end zone in this 4th quarter. First down, first and goal at the 9. Hart on first down. Boy, that pass was in danger of being picked off and raced all the way to the other end. Cecil Johnson down there. That play didn't develop very well, Emerson.
That was somewhat of a safety valve type with a screen set up in front of it. If things had broken downfield as it first took a look, he used to flip the ball out there, which he already had a screen set up, but threw the ball a little bit too hard and couldn't get a handle on it.
Look at Counsell Rudolph looking at Jim Hart, former teammates. Rudolph for the Cardinals. Jim Hart now has a second and goal at the 9. A minute 40 remaining in this game. The Cardinals down by 10. If they could score here and then try the onside kick, they're not out of it yet.
Counsell was probably saying to Jim Hart, why didn't you hold the football a little bit longer, just a wee bit longer? I'd have been there with you.
The Cardinals battling uphill. Boy, they have been in this position so often. They're going to have to hurry. They have 6 seconds to snap the ball. They got it away. A flag on the play. Hart throwing. Ike Harris. He's in the end zone for the touchdown. But wait a minute. There is a flag. Let's wait and see. That flag went into the air just about the time the ball was snapped. Bernie Ullman, the official. The illegal procedure. Oh, boy. What a frustrating afternoon this has been for the Cardinals. For that matter, a frustrating season. So the 5-yard penalty, back to the 14, and let's listen.
Number 70, offense. Number 60, full start.
That's Roger Finney, your old teammate, Emerson.
I think he's getting a little bit jittery. He's got Leroy on his nose, and he'll make you jump sometimes. You got to sit there steady in the boat.
A final score. Philadelphia won their 5th game of the year, shutting out the Jets 27-0.
27-0.
From the 14-yard line now.
I'm sure Michael is hot in New York.
Second and goal now from the 14. There's your time in the right-hand corner of the screen. Hart. Going for the corner, Ike Harris, but just nothing doing on that play. Beautiful coverage that time by Tampa Bay. At Tampa Bay secondary, they picked up Jarris White from Miami. Cotney from the Houston Oilers. Cedric Brown from the Oakland Raiders, and Mike Washington from the Baltimore Colts, and they're playing together like they were all drafted together.
He got a little bit from here, a little bit from there, but the most important thing that McKay has done with his defensive club is that he started the same group at the start of the preseason, and they've gone right on down, 14 NFL games.
So now it's third down. Third and goal from the 14. The original line of scrimmage, the 9-yard line. Hart back again. Over the middle, this is Jerry Latin, and Latin fumbles the ball in the end zone. And it's going to be a touchback. I want to say something right now. That just kind of caps this entire year as far as St. Louis Cardinal fans are concerned.
It's got to be disheartening to the Cardinals.
Jerry Latin fumbles in the end zone. It's going to come out to the 20. The Buccaneers have the ball.
Want to cut your fuel bills? Whether your house is new or old, put insulation everywhere. It can save you money. Your attic. You need a 6 to 12-inch blanket of pink Owens Corning fiberglass. Walls. Full insulation. Unheated crawl space. Insulate below the floor. Live where it's cold. Insulate basement walls. See your Owens Corning fiberglass supplier to learn all about insulation. Insulation is cheaper than oil.
At the 20-yard line, Tampa Bay has the ball after the fumble recovery. And now Lewis Carter jams it out to 25. We just looked down to the left of us, and Abe Gibran, the defensive coordinator for Tampa Bay, lighted up a victory cigar and left the booth.
Can he really? It's all over.
Well, Tampa Bay has to be excited. Let's look at the play once again, the pass to Jerry Latin.
Latin makes a fine catch here, and he's a victim of his own effort. He's got the ball in his right arm. Then he hits upfield trying to get in, but he leaves the ball hanging a lot. You can't really blame the guy for that. But it comes loose, squirts into the end zone. A number of things that have happened to this St. Louis club all year long.
Well, it went out. Nobody got on it, but of course the Cardinals didn't get on it. That's a big story, so it is a touchback. At the 25-yard line, 2nd and 5. Here's Lewis Carter again for a yard. And with 25 seconds, it's all over. And Tampa Bay, who was frustrated all year long. We have an overtime. Look at that in Chicago and the Giants. The Tampa Bay that's been frustrated all year long is finishing on an upbeat, winning their last 2 games of the 77 season. On the other hand, a complete reversal from that, the Cardinals going down to their 4th straight loss. And they're going to finish at 7-7 for the year. A timeout is called with 19 seconds, but it's all academic right now. Well, I tell you, I just didn't know what to expect as far as the Cardinals were concerned in their performance, Emerson, because of what had happened all week long. But I think you just have to give credit to Tampa Bay. They have played extremely well.
I want to know how much of a letdown has it been for the Cardinals, knowing that they are a club that can score lots of points, and at this point they've got 7 points on the board. It is not the Cardinal club that can score 21 points in the closing 2 minutes. One missing ingredient, though, is Terry Metcalf.
Look ahead now. Next Sunday, the NBA on CBS, the Buffalo Braves and Cleveland Cavaliers. As the NBA season on CBS will continue right through to the championship game. Gary Huff giving off again to Carter. Carter just wasting time of 14 seconds. And this place is going up for grabs right now. They're counting down the time. 2 seconds, 1 second, and this game is over. And Tampa Bay, an ecstatic crowd of better than 65,000, comes onto the field. They're coming onto the field here in Tampa. That's the end of the game on the final score. Tampa Bay 17, the Cards 7. We'll be back at the Tempe Stadium in just a moment. Gary Bender along with Emerson Boozer, and you can see an ecstatic crowd here at Tampa Stadium.
You would think that Tampa Bay is just qualified for the playoffs.
Well, they finish off in a sensational way. You got to give them credit, Emerson. They've had a good defense all year long. They had 33 points last week against New Orleans. They come through here with 17 today, and that definitely has to wipe out a lot of frustration as far as Tampa Bay is concerned. Now the big story is, will Don Coryell return as the head coach of the St. Louis Cardinals, a team that finishes on a downbeat, losing 4 consecutive games. 17-7 our score here at Tampa Stadium. Well, they're tearing down the goalposts here in Tampa Stadium. The first victory ever for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa Stadium. 17-7 win over the St. Louis Cardinals. Now let's go to CBS Sports Control in New York.
Doug Plank has just intercepted a pass for the Chicago Bears in overtime against the New York Giants. At stake is whether Chicago or Washington winds up in the playoffs. The Bears cannot settle for a tie in overtime. They must beat the Giants. You are looking live right now. The ball down about the Giants' 25. Robin Earl on the fumble. I believe he got back down on top of it. Greg Latta is motioning that Chicago has held possession. Now, Chicago is lucky to still be alive. The Giants have dropped one would-be touchdown pass after another. Here's the replay on the fumble, and you can see big Robin Earl, who probably is the biggest running back in the National Football League, go down on the ball. We'll stay right with that game for you now. They are in overtime, and again, if Chicago wins it, they will open up the playoffs in Dallas a week from tomorrow. Here it is, 2nd and 6. This is Walter Payton, who's been held in check. So there will be a big third down with Van Pelt and John Mendenhall on the stop for the New York Giants. So again, it would be Chicago and Dallas if the Bears can get 3 points here in sudden death. The second game would be Los Angeles hosting Minnesota. And we now have a release on the starting times. The first game, a week from Monday, will start at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. The second game from Los Angeles will start at 6 o'clock Eastern Time or 3 o'clock out in the Los Angeles Coliseum. Right now, Chicago has a third down, and it is Big Earl pounding right straight ahead. Jack Pardee now must decide whether or not to set up and attempt the field goal right here. And Earl Cross, the field conditions have been absolutely treacherous in this game. And here is Thomas. He's had an extra point blocked in this game already. He started out on the field, and you can see him heading back.
Well, I tell you, it's a shame that this kind of a game has to be played under such poor field conditions. But both of these teams have simply sold themselves out. They've played their hearts out right down to the hilt. We are in overtime play, and the Bears are trying to decide if they should go for a field goal. Yeah, Thomas is out there, so they're going to kick it.
Now the pressure is squarely on the center. Neal will snap it to him. And again, Thomas had one blocked, and if you're wondering about that extra point that was blocked, the pressure came from the right side of the Giants' defense or the left side of the Chicago blocking wall, if you prefer. Avellini will put it down for him.
Brent,
that's at the 25 where they're going to spot it, Irv. That's a 35-yard attempt.
I'm really sorry, Brent, but one of the most important factors here is that Thomas must be able to plant his left foot firmly and swing through with his right leg, and he's had some difficulty maintaining his footing. He tried an extra point earlier where he slipped and couldn't quite get into the ball. So just remember, he's a soccer-style kicker. He'll come through very strongly with that left leg. He'll plant that leg and swing his way through that. Now, if he can get good footing, he may be able to get it through the uprights.
You are looking live at coverage from the Meadowlands. It began raining in the New York area early this morning. Then that rain turned into hail and snow. It has been a treacherous surface. When regulation time ended, Walter Payton had been held to 39 yards in 15 carries. And, of course, Walter needed 199 yards to pass O.J. Simpson, but, Irv, he never had a chance.
Not really. I think they decided when they came out and saw the field conditions that the record was not a possibility. All Jack Pardee wants is a field goal right here and a win and go home with that, and he'll be satisfied.
At stake, not only for Chicago, is whether or not Washington will go to the playoffs. A 35-yard attempt. It was a wobbly snap, and it looks like it was off to the left. No good. And now, let's go away as that game continues and take you around the league and get you up to date with all of the scores. The game you were just watching, of course, is in overtime right now. And the score in that contest, well, you know it's tied at 9. Now we go to the New Orleans-Atlanta, and Atlanta is routing them by a score of 35-7. Now in the fourth quarter, more wool for Hank Stram, who last week lost to Tampa Bay. And Tampa Bay now has a modest winning streak of 2 as they beat St. Louis. And, you know, the Cardinals just had to be terribly down for this game because they seemed to be a cinch for the playoffs a few weeks ago. What happened to them?
Well, I don't know, Brent. They seem to have fallen apart the last 3 or 4 weeks, but still, a loss to Tampa Bay, and the Cardinals, as good as they are, really, I'm sure they're really doing some second-guessing right now as to what's happened to their organization.
All right, Philadelphia beats the New York Jets 27-0. So if the Giants should happen to go on and lose to the Bears, Philadelphia would finish ahead of them in the standings. That would affect next year's schedule. Cincinnati and Houston. Cincinnati needed a win. They are in trouble. They trail at 21-13. Now all the Steelers have to do is show up to get into the playoffs. San Francisco and Green Bay, and the Packers lead it by 2 points. They are in the third quarter, and San Francisco had to come from behind several times in that game, but the Packers now back in command. And let us now return you to the stadium in Tampa.
Okay, Brent, thank you very much. And there's Bedlam here at Tampa Stadium. As they're tearing down the goalpost, they successfully torn down the one to our left. The one to the right they were able to salvage. As this enthusiastic crowd of better than 65,000 witnessing the first win ever at home by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And, of course, the question was asked a moment ago, Brent, talking to Irv Cross, as to what is wrong with the St. Louis Cardinals, what's going to have to happen. As you probably are very much aware, Don Coryell making some statements that he was unhappy with the organization and some of the things that are occurring. Did not deny making the statements, but said he was a fool to make them publicly. He had 4 opportunities at a recent quarterback club banquet that was held in St. Louis to soften his stand and say he would be back, but he did not take that opportunity to do so. His contract does run through 1980, and Bill Bidwell indicated to me that he would meet with Don Coryell this week, but he would like to meet maybe a couple of days away so that the emotions of the game, the emotions of the season might subside, and they could have a very factual discussion and decide if, in fact, he's going to return as coach of the Cardinals. There's so many things, Emerson, involved in this. It's, as always, in a situation like that, not a cut-and-dried matter. It's not a simple thing. It's a very complicated and complex decision that Coach Coryell and Bill Bidwell will have to make, and that decision will be forthcoming in the next few days.
We certainly hope that Coryell remains in St. Louis because he's done a remarkable job while at St. Louis. It's taken a ball club that put him into the playoffs 4 out of 5 years that he's there. And that's a record in itself for any coach coming out of the collegiate ranks and having such instant success.
Well, there's been so many things pointed out by Coach Coryell. He pointed out that he wanted to have more say in the draft, that he wanted to have some of the players have their salaries negotiated, more money. Terry Metcalf has indicated, if possible, he would like to return to St. Louis next year. Of course, Metcalf being hurt early in this game. But I think one thing that has to be pointed out about this St. Louis football team is that offensively, they've always been a very good team. But defensively, they have the last 4 weeks not been able to get the job done. Coach Coryell made a statement that he felt that only 2 of the starting 11 could play for the New York Giants. The defensive team came out this week in practice wearing New York Giants stickers on their helmets. And there's been a lot of discussion that went up to Roger Worley and said, Roger, we know you're one of those players who can start for New York, but who's the other one?
I tell you what, the New York Giants don't really have a bad defensive unit. Matter of fact, they have probably one of the top defensive young lines in the business, along with the linebacking core. But that's not here or there. The Cardinals started the early part of the year concerned about their offense. Really hadn't scored that many points, Gary.
17-7, they're dancing with joy here in Tampa Bay. Well, they're milling around on the field. 17-7 our final score. This was a game which started out with the Cardinals moving the ball, only to throw the interception, with Cotney coming up with the first of 2 for Tampa Bay today. And then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers moving the ball 63 yards in 14 plays, scoring on a 1-yard smash by Lewis Carter. They led 7-0 after 1 quarter. And then the Cardinals at the start of the second quarter had a 4th and 1, did not convert on it. And Tampa Bay then struck in a hurry as Gary Huff tossed his 3rd touchdown pass of the year, a 61-yarder to Morris Owens. The point after made it 14-0. And then just before the end of the first half, the Cardinals went on a 63-yard drive of their own. Wayne Morris going over from 3 yards out at halftime, 14-7. And then in the third quarter, it was Huff again to Owens for 63 yards, which set up a 23-yard field goal by Dave Green at 4:17 to make it 17-7. And then the Cardinals fumbled the ball. They threw an interception to Mike Washington. They roughed the kicker and fumbled in the end zone in the fourth quarter. As Emerson, they had 4 opportunities and 4 turnovers in that fourth quarter.
Well, those are the things that hurt them, turning the ball over. If you have that many mistakes, you might as well say, here's the ball game. But unfortunately, you can't do it that way. You play out the remaining portion of your time. But it was errors that hurt them. They're a much better club than a seven-point offensive unit and giving up 17 points. You're holding them down low enough to win the ball game, but on the other side of the line, you've got to score 17 or more points.
So Tampa Bay, and boy, what an excited group this is. A crowd officially of 66,902 on hand for this game. They applauded when the team came on the field, and likewise, the players applauded the fans, as they are very much aware of the support that they have gotten in 2 years, which has produced 2 wins, 2 of which have come in the last 2 weeks. Our producer for today's telecast, David Fox. Directed by Chris Erskine. And Rupert Koenig's on the New Orleans area, our associate producer. Some young man is all hung up down there. Marty Murphy, our engineer in charge, our EIC. Gentlemen, we thank you very much for your help here. A game, a most interesting game, an exciting game as far as Tampa Bay fans are concerned, but a very disappointing and bitter conclusion to the 1977 season as far as the Cardinals are concerned. So 77 comes to a close. 14 weeks of football. The Cardinals went 1-3 in the early, and then won 6 in a row and lost 4 in a row. The CBS Sports Spectacular coming up next week at 4:30. As we're going to have some outstanding action. We'll have the World's Professional Skateboard Speed Championships and the European Figure Skating Championship. Gary Bender speaking for Emerson Boozer, saying so long from Tampa Stadium. 17-7, Tampa Bay defeating St. Louis. The NFL Today is a presentation of CBS Sports.
This is CBS.